not gonna lie. You have anything?
Carla usually does.
That's
She has
true.
some butterscotch. As you
I have butterscotch.
Yeah.
Do you want
she's
some?
got some treats.
Good in here.
Mike sometimes does too.
I try.
Mike sometimes has butterscotch?
No,
We
Carla
don't want
has
anyone
butterscotch.
to
She has
be
the treats.
hangry.
He comes in, but we'll get started.
Did you text him?
I did. I didn't get a response, but
He's on his way,
I'm sure he is.
hopefully.
I now call the April 8th, 2025 work session of the Riverton City Council to order at 6:02 PM. Councilmember Bailey has agreed to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, after which I will give the invocation. If everyone could please rise and remove any cover.
I pledge allegiance
Our dear Heavenly Father, we are grateful for the opportunity we have to meet here together with the citizens of our great community. We ask that it please bless those that are here and elsewhere that serve the community in various different capacities. Please bless them to have safety and guidance from Thee, and we're so grateful for their willingness to serve. Ask that it please bless Ethan Borchard and Taggart Harmelink as they are away and serving our country in a different capacity. Please protect them until they are able to return and continue to serve the community in the police department. We ask that it please bless our first responders, our police officers, our firefighters, and all those who risk their lives and their selves for our community, and ask that it please protect them and guide them. And ask that it please bless us as we meet tonight, that we can have the Spirit with us to make decisions that will benefit our community. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right. City well, I was going to say the city administrator, but Administrative Services Director, if you could please conduct the roll call.
Yes, Your Honor. Councilmember Eric Carr. Here. Councilmember Rebecca Pearson-Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember Mike Bailey.
Here.
Councilmember Carla Borders.
Here.
Councilmember Kyle Larson.
Absent as of now.
Councilmember Karen Johnson.
Here.
Mayor Tim Hancock.
I am here. I declare we have a quorum. I'd entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilwoman Johnson with the second. Any discussion, additions, corrections, removals? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Youth City Council discussions, City Administrators report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. As part of the goal-setting experience for fiscal year '26, the City Council adopted via resolution goals that included the establishment of a Youth City Council program, specifically to develop and implement this program. I know that several city youth members and council members have been involved in framing the concept of a youth city council. One in particular, Councilwoman Pearson-Lewis, has been working very hard on this. And they have drafted a program proposal for you to discuss. They've also provided a sample resolution, and those materials are included in your report. There are other communities within the state of Wyoming that have successfully implemented a youth city council program, in particular the city of Cheyenne and the city of Laramie. Casper also runs a youth city program, but that's through a nonprofit organization and not the city itself. Included in your packet are materials related to those individual council programs as well. As part of your working session tonight, the council has opportunity to establish the expectations that it has for a youth city council program to be implemented next fiscal year. And those expectations may include the duties associated with the youth council, the authority, the engagement, the oversight, participation, the term, membership, selection procedure, liaison, projects, etc. There's no current budget impact in discussing this proposal or concept. However, you may decide to allocate funds in the fiscal year 26 budget to support the youth city council. And with that, Your Honor, I will stand for any questions, but defer to you as you discuss during this working session this concept. I do know that there are several youth in the audience that may want to address you as well.
Thank you. How about we start with that? Were there some individuals who wanted to speak to the council about this, were involved in the framing of this initial resolution proposal? You can all come up at once maybe and just introduce yourselves and then tell us what you want to tell us.
This work? Perfect.
It does
All right. Had to test. Good evening, Your Honor and council members. Thank you for having us here tonight. I am Ayana Mejarado. I'm 18 years old and an upcoming graduate at Riverton High School. Thank you for this opportunity to present to you a proposal that would bring value to all citizens and youth within our community. We greatly appreciate you each taking the time to review our proposal and sample resolution to establish a Riverton Youth City Council. We worked hard to write them over the last few months. It is you all that hold the key to a better future for the city of Riverton. And what you have in front of you is an opportunity to invite youth to the table and give us a voice in determining our futures. Throughout this meeting, we'll take the time to express what excites us most about this proposal and its likely benefits to the community of Riverton, Wyoming.
I'm Aurora Baldus. I'm 16 and a sophomore at Riverton High School. I would like to start out by pointing that all communities want to be successful. They all have hopes and dreams and plans for their future. Yet every one of them makes decisions that may feel right at the time, but ultimately undermine their future success. I want to present you with a quote. In the book 13 Ways to Kill Your Community by Doug Griffiths, he states that the youth are full of creative, innovative ideas, but not yet prejudiced by bad experiences and fruitless pursuits. Within youth lies the hope anything is possible if we can dream it. They have the energy and passion to pursue those dreams to their realization. If you wish to eliminate any future in your community, you must be vigilant in snuffing out those hopes and dreams. You must be certain that young people are not part of your councils, your chambers, your volunteer organizations, or any committee where that energy or those ideas might find life. It is of critical importance if you are going to kill your community to be sure those youth do not become engaged and active participants in community life." End quote. In Wyoming especially, we have a scarcity of opportunities for young people. We are in an extremely rural state, and this leads to our youth looking for better and more inclusive spaces away from their home communities. When youth do not feel heard and valued, they will do anything to find somewhere where they will be. So we ask why? Why are we not finding ways for our youth to have a voice, to have a say in the decisions that affect them and their futures, that shape the communities that they may grow into?
I am James Pearson. I'm 15 and a freshman at Riverton High School. We would now like to present to you our solution, the proposal that we have been working on. I want to make it clear that because this is a proposal, anything you see in front of you is open to change. These are the guidelines we see fit in making this plan a reality. A youth city council gives students the chance to make a real impact on their community. It would help us develop leadership skills, learn how local governments and organizations work, and build valuable connections with Riverton. In addition to these skills, this proposal empowers the youth. It tells us that our voice matters.
All right, I am Royce Hancock. Whoa, sorry about that. I am 16 years old and a sophomore at RHS. Yep. The ideals of this council and proposal rely on its implementation of this thing that we're doing today. I just want to address the inner workings of our plan, specifically how the youth council will act as an extension of city council, a helping hand willing to work to learn involvement in government and networking professionally. And most importantly, the council will be a bridge for interaction and feedback from youth.
I'm Adriana Potter. I'm 18 and I'm an upcoming graduate at RHS. This is Tarek Brown. He sadly cannot speak because tonsils got removed.
Thanks for coming anyway.
Again, we want to say thank you. We thank you for listening to the voices in your youth and considering the opportunity to give the youth in our community the chance to have a voice, to be encouraged to come back to the areas in which they grew up in because they are proud. We want to encourage our youth and be glad that have the chance to make a change, to have a say in our future. I had something else to say, but it got lost. We say thank you.
You can take a minute if you need to look at it.
Take your time.
Adriana, you're good.
I said what I had to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Did you have anything to sum up, Ayana?
We like the time that you provided us. We're glad that this became an actual goal. We appreciate City Council taking such initiative to work with us because we're wanting the youth to be valued. I'm already graduating. I don't have a chance to actually join the Youth City Council, but what I want is for my sister to have this opportunity, for her friends to have this opportunity, for younger people, the sophomores, the freshmen, to have this opportunity to work with you, to speak with you, to get things that I didn't get that I think would be really valuable.
I guess just a few questions before I have you sit down. We did note that, for example, Casper, this is done through a different organization. It seems like this could somewhat be done without the city council actually being as directly involved. What about this, I guess, is the most attractive to you in terms of having the city council be more so the sponsoring agency, so to speak, for this, as opposed to not?
I think the advantages are that it's a direct bridge. You don't have to necessarily send someone over to come to a city council meeting directly just to ask you about something. You have a liaison that you're constantly in contact with. You already have something shared from the city council. When the city council needs something, it's a direct line of transmission asking about it. It's not waiting and then a slow communication, waiting on emails to get back and forth where you have a lot of other stuff on your plate because you're not working on the same things.
Cool. I appreciate it. Any questions before we kind of start discussing?
With your proposal, what's the likelihood, because being a senior, I'm sure you've carved out some of your future already, where you want to go, college, that kind of stuff, how far you want to go. What is the likelihood of you returning back to Riverton to serve the community once you've put some time and effort into the city council?
So what I've put in a lot of my college applications, actually, because they ask if you want to seek like a government position or political science, is like Barrasso. I want to come back to Wyoming, and I would actually love to do something like you do, represent the people. I love government. It's not what I'm going into in my career. I'm going into biomedical engineering, but I loved debate. I loved government class. I love coming to these sessions and representing. I love volunteering for the community. So coming back to represent Wyoming is actually a goal of mine.
Aside from that, I just want to say thank you to you guys for putting in the time and the effort to come down, present, and having an interest in what's going on in our community. I think that speaks volumes, and I commend you guys for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great job. Any other questions? All right, well, we might drag you back up here if we have any questions as we go, but thank you very much for being here, being prepared. How many of you went to state recently? Raise your hand. I recognized most of you. Well, some of you more than others, perhaps. And then, let's see, Ayana, you were the Congress state champion.
Yes, 2-time.
Yep.
3 years
Last
in a row.
year, this year.
Yep.
Way to go.
Thank you.
How about the rest of you? Did you stage with anything at state?
Yes.
Adri did.
Go ahead, Adriana.
I have to remember. Sorry. I staged in both, I didn't compete in Congress, but I staged in both drama and duo. But for our district tournament, I triple qualified in all 3 of my events, including Congress.
Are you going to nationals then as well?
Yes.
Cool.
Nationals and drama.
I remembered that you were,
I just remember with duos that you staged. I remembered seeing you go up there. Anyone else?
Well, I didn't necessarily stage in anything because Ayana took the spots for me. But I did get 7th overall in Congress and 2nd in the, like, 3A type thing.
It's hard to compete with Ayana.
Yeah.
It is
You guys are all kind of
Oh,
like,
Ayana.
go graduate already, right? I hear you.
All of them are happy
a lot
she's a
of people.
senior. It's true.
All right, well, good. Well, feel free to have a seat, and we'll yank you back up here however you want to do it, okay?
Okay.
Thanks for coming, and Tarek, get well soon, okay? Hey, you did speak.
Appreciate it, Your Honor.
I have to laugh talking about giving students a voice, and I really wish we could give you a voice tonight. I'm sorry.
Hey.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, I had a chance to look at this. I had a couple of thoughts on it, some particular pages, but I guess I'd just open it up for anyone else. The general idea behind it. Part of the reason we have this scheduled for a work session is so we don't have to really vote on it or anything. We can kind of just look at it and have any suggestions. So, big picture thoughts about the proposal and the resolution.
I'll go first if that's okay, Your Honor.
Sure.
I'm incredibly supportive of this. I think that giving our youth a voice is something that's desperately needed in our community, and I think it's a great thing. There's a few things that I would change on the proposal, one of those being to one-year terms because seniors only have 1 year left. And I think that if it does prove to be too much for them, that they're only committed to 1 year at that point. I did a little bit of research, and some of the most successful youth council meetings come out of Texas, interestingly enough. And the biggest thing that I would say is needed is great diversity throughout the applicants. We need to have equal representation when we're selecting. But other than that, I would be very supportive of
Jonna, may I speak to that for a minute?
Yes, actually, let's clarify, in terms of diversity, are you speaking specifically as to ages?
everything from age to the area of town that they live in, whether it's county or city or wards, if we choose them from wards 1, 2, and 3, or race, or whatever you want to look at. But there needs to be, all the research that I've looked at through the most successful ones have shown great diversity in who they choose to put on the council, so that they have the best input and they can discuss the challenges that they face, each one of them in different capacities.
Okay.
So as far as the 1 year, 2 year, we do have in there that if they matriculate out, they, they can matriculate out if you pick a senior. Does that make sense? So it's only a 1 year term. So I don't know, in the 2 years, it might be valuable to have a 2 year term only because you are just getting your feet wet on that 1 year. Does that make sense? But you can still pick a senior because that matriculation piece, then they can still get another person in. Does that make sense?
It did. I just felt to give more kids of an opportunity so that the seats aren't tied up for 2 years at a time. More kids would have an opportunity to serve a 1 year term.
Yeah. But it's still, if like, let's say you have 3 seniors, you're still filling those 3 seats. Does that make sense? So it still would balance out that number some. Do you know what I mean? Like, depending on who you're filling, if they're leaving, then you're still filling those seats. And then, yeah, do you see what I'm saying? It's still going to kind of balance it. But I'm just throwing that out there. But I love the diversity, and that's actually one of the conversations that we've had throughout this whole thing. That's why it's written that it would be in Riverton city limits. That's why it's not a Ward 1, 2, 3. That's why it's a homeschool, because we did a lot of research. We called a lot of places. And like, let's say Casper, we call them, and they take them from the 3 high schools. We were like, well, we're not going to do that. We're going to take them from any Riverton city limits. That way they can be homeschooled, they can be from Frontier, they can be from Riverton High School, they can be from outside of the city limits as long as they have a Riverton High School. We were extremely prodigious when we did that on that proposal part. So bingo and perfect, Karen, because that's exactly what our idea was when we wrote that into the proposal. I mean, as far as like picking them, that would be to the council or whoever picked them. But the idea was so that anyone and everyone within that limit could apply. And you've got this fantastically large group of youth applying, which is wonderful. You know, you don't have this limit to Riverton High School. You have a limit to all of Riverton, because that's one of the issues that we have with the council. It's Ward 1, 2, 3. And that's a state limit. That's a state statute. We cannot open it up to all of Riverton. And we wish we could, right? But we can in this instance if it's youth council. So, yeah.
Just a question, just by raise of hand from our students that are here tonight, who here lives out of city limits?
Derek?
I was going to say I knew that Derek did. Anybody who wasn't with the group that lives out of city limits that's a kid? Just curious. Okay. The rest of you, though, are in Riverton City proper.
I think most of them are with Representative Carr, actually. We had this conversation. We all figured out.
Most of you are, just happen to be in Ward 3, huh?
Yeah, I think I've got Adrian in mine. So we're figuing out one day.
I know that Mr. Pearson isn't in Ward 3.
Oh, he's with me. He's actually in my house.
Since you have such a good population of people who in general that are asking for assistance, maybe just adults too, how many?
Yeah, I'm curious. Who here lives out of city limits? Okay, so some, not a ton, but it is nice to be able to have you here. We don't technically represent you in some ways, but we do our best. Thank you, good call. Yeah, because I know the Baldas child, Aurora, lives in Ward 3. So, yeah, okay. Any other just broad strokes on this that we wanted to discuss? I had a couple of specifics. So number one, I think there was a reference in here to a ordinance, and then the proposal was a resolution. I would think probably this would be the kind of thing we could do by resolution. We would not need to do an ordinance for this down the road.
Your Honor, that's correct. I would recommend a resolution.
Okay.
So I think, and I saw a reference to an ordinance in the resolution, and then I also saw a reference to an ordinance. Let me get my notes.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. So we need to rewrite that part, yes?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's a resolution, then it shouldn't say resolution or ordinance, yeah.
Right.
Detailed in the City of Riverton Code of Ordinances. What,
My notes are on my other computer.
that's fine.
The other thing I noted in structure, and these are just some small things, and some of these we can just talk about offline too. The Riverton Youth Council seeks to be, if we were going to have this adopted as just some initial kind of, I know right here it's a proposal is the way it's put in there, but I think you could almost have this as the initial bylaws, so to speak, or have it be put into the resolution. We could kind of see about that. Because I know with some of our other organizations like the Tree Board, those sort of things, there's a resolution that would create them, and then they have their bylaws that they would institute. So this might be something that wouldn't be in a resolution, but it would probably make sense to be kind of initial bylaws or something that, of course, then they could make some changes to.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know how we would do that, but I would note, page 4, it says the Riverton Youth Council seeks to be an established sworn in. If you don't have a council in place, it kind of seems a little bit weird to say that.
Oh, okay, yeah,
For the
yeah.
initial
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an interesting discussion, 2 years versus 1. I like the idea of 1 year. I also like the idea of 2 years. It's a little bit difficult, I think, with our youth. You know, you try something out, you do it for a period of time.
May or may not.
1 year might make sense because it might be like, okay, I've done the youth council for a year, next year I want to do soccer.
Can they,
We
re-
have some soccer players here.
can they reapply? Your Honor, can they reapply? That's the question.
That might be the way to do it.
I think, I'm sorry. I think that there's probably going to be projects at some point that they're working on that they want to see through, and they want to see the outcome of that, and so they can reapply, and that can be part of their reappointment, if you will. But I just think,
I think that's
and
fine.
this is absolutely no disrespect to the kids at all, but I think kids at that age, they tend to change their minds quite often.
Heck, adults
often.
do that, but
I think,
One day
yeah,
they'll
well,
like
if
one
they're-
thing and the next day
yeah.
they're not, or they get into it and they just determine that it's not really what they're truly interested in. And
yeah.
they're gonna have to be committed
I
once
think
they do
that's
it.
fine.
Councilman Bailey?
Again, I think there's definitely some value in having some continuation of a council, so it doesn't totally 100% change over to 9 new people. Because then you're starting from scratch. They have to reset everything, start over, as with city council. I mean, I've been here 10 years and I'm just sort of figuring it all out.
I'm glad you
And,
finally are getting
yeah,
there.
took me a while, but it's one of those where, you know, the first year you're struggling just to figure out how it all works. So, I mean, I like the idea of 2-year cycle staggered so that they're not all changing over at the same time. And I get, you're only in high school for 3 years, so that limits your timeframe. But,
What if we broke it down to anything below a senior status could do a 2-year? They could apply for a 2-year, but seniors were only allowed to apply for 1.
That's what it, oh, well, it kind of says that.
You
And
could
they're-
have seats that are 2 versus 1 year as well. You could have both, you know, you could have I mean,
Yeah.
heck, 9 is
Yeah.
quite a few members. You could have some that are 1-year terms and some that are 2-year terms.
Sure.
My only concern is if they start a project that they're given, and we're depending on that to be followed through, and it's not in their well house to stay on the council, then we have unfinished business that then becomes our problem to deal with.
Okay. Good discussion for that. Right now, the way it has it is 2-year terms staggered so that you've got it kind of like we have with 4, where we've got 2 years for each. I guess what we could put in there is we could, we could leave that up to the first council to kind of figure out the terms and that sort of thing. I mean, there's no reason we have to really chime in on that. We can leave it up to the initial council to make those changes or not. I do like the idea of 2 years because you get a little bit more time. But we could adopt it with the idea that this would be the initial, and then they could kind of make those changes as they see is helpful. I did want to bring up, this was another thing, any vacancy on the committee shall be, and I thought this was an interesting idea. The initial discussion was that they would be continually be appointed by the city council, whereas this proposal has it where the initial ones would be appointed by the city council, and then you would have a committee that would be doing the appointment from there on out. It's a good idea, but it also does kind of get us so that we don't get to know the council members as well.
Your Honor, I think that the committee is probably made up of the council. I think that's the idea. Is that the idea? So it's like, you don't have to use the entire council, but you could have like 3 people on the council. I think that was our idea. So kind of like how we do hiring for, you know what I mean? Like it might be 2 members or 3 members. So you're pulling from the committee, or from the council for the committee. I think that was our idea, yeah.
All right. I guess double check and make sure that's how you have it, but I think that sounds fine to me. I
Yeah.
don't know if anybody has any. I just liked the idea of the council being involved with it, if we wanted to be having them.
That way we didn't have to have 7 people doing all of it. We could just pull like 3 people on that committee. I think that's what we were talking about, yeah.
Do interviews and make recommendations or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. So that's kind of what we were thinking, yeah.
Okay. And then we have in here, the other thing I wanted to bring up is it had said, students may come from any school or be homeschooled. Did we want to have any limitations on that in terms of, nothing against students that might want to do this from Du Bois, for example, but I think you would want to have it
It
be,
needs Riverton address.
okay.
That's the idea, is a Riverton address, so,
Agree with that.
yeah.
I would say anyone eligible to attend school in Riverton, so that way it
So there'd be
covers.
Yes.
School
yes,
District
that's the
25
idea.
boundaries?
Yes.
Because that boundary goes out a little bit.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
We could do the school district 25 boundaries.
Yeah.
And that does
That's
expand a
easy.
little more.
That's the idea, is that Riverton, so that you're getting that, they can be outside, you know, but you're getting, you know, that,
Anybody here that live outside of the school district 25 boundaries? Adults or kids? Pamela. I just was saying your name, that was all. You're the only one, huh? Okay. Well, that could probably work.
Not gonna let you in school.
you're out.
Okay. I think that could be a good way to put that in there.
I love it.
School District 25 boundaries. The other thing that I saw in here was, sorry, like I said, I had my notes.
No,
on my-
Your Honor, you're the lawyer here, you got it. You're doing it all, so do your
It
thing.
says they'd be accompanied, okay, they would be attended by the city administrator. So number one, we could say city administrator or designee. Number two, my thought was almost that it would make more sense to have this be a community development department.
Sure.
I don't know, what do you think, Gary?
Are you
How well do you get
you
along
up
with
for it?
kids?
You up for it, Gary?
Your Honor, I do have a couple teenage kids myself. Happy to help out in any way I can. I am interested in how much time this might take, and want to make sure that I have enough time to put towards this and make it successful.
Kyle, what do you think in terms of where this would be housed? I know our other committees tend to be housed in different departments.
Your Honor, I think it'd be fine to list it as the city administrator or their designee. The proposal also establishes a liaison position or a youth advisor position. And it seems that the city staff member would work in conjunction with this selected youth advisor as well.
Do you see any problem with just putting in there Councilwoman Pearson Lewis? I mean, it'd be easier.
For time and eternity.
For time.
I feel like,
the rest of
I feel like that was coming.
I like the idea of saying city administrator or designee. That gives you the flexibility to kind of see where it goes and what might be the appropriate department for that. Or, I mean, my concern was you're pretty busy as it is. You already attend quite a few meetings as it is. So I was just kind of thinking it might make more sense for this to be housed elsewhere, but we could leave it flexible with that.
Your Honor, I'm happy to have it listed as me or my designee. This is pretty important, and
Okay.
it would be fun to work with the youth. But we'll get this thing stood up and we'll see what works best.
Okay? And I mean, and that's one of the benefits, is we can go through and see what works and what doesn't and make changes as we need to, too. And I think that was a really good point.
Yep. Keep it broad so we can do as we need.
Yeah, love it.
The other one I had in duties, I try not to be too silly with this. I mean, advise the city of Riverton. It might be a bad idea to put 5 as other duties as assigned, as assigned by the city council. You know what I mean? We have advise, promote civic engagement, provide of its membership 2 members to attend at least 1 monthly public it says one monthly public city, so there's a little bit of a typo there. I'm thinking it's supposed to be one monthly
Yep.
public meeting
Yep,
of the Riverton City Council.
yep.
Serve as a communication conduit, and then I would just say other
Duties as assigned.
duties as assigned.
The,
You see that a lot in,
sounds like a
Policy.
good job description.
Sounds great.
That's the catch-all for policy.
you don't get to do things that are illegal, doesn't matter who tells you, but it's not an excuse. I liked the timeline that they had in the selection process. I think that looked good. Everything that they had kind of in page 7, I think was good. Those were the main things that I noted. Any other?
Is it going to be advertised throughout the school? I would assume so.
Yeah, it had said basically, City of Riverton would provide for the publication of the application and storage of application submissions. Marketing, the City of Riverton would provide marketing support for the Riverton Youth Council.
So,
So-
Your Honor, yeah, it would be, because it's not a school thing, it would be marketed, hopefully newspapers, things like that. I mean,
Which does.
the
incur
school
costs.
can, maybe do that, but it would maybe bridging some areas there. But we're hoping it would be taken on by the city. Yeah, as a,
With the help of the school getting the message out. maybe.
yeah, I can absolutely, ask for permission to get emails out and that sort of thing. And certainly, I know 1.5 million students over there that have already, inquired about applications that aren't even out yet, or nothing's even approved yet, and they're already asking. So, the message will get out. But in there, it would be a city responsibility to get the message out, especially because we want it to go to everybody, to homeschoolers, to everyone. So we don't want it just at the school, so.
So there is some cost
There would be some
associated
cost
with it, 'cause
associated.
advertising is
Yes.
expensive.
There would be some cost associated initially, and possibly, I think that once you do that, word of mouth would be huge, and anytime that there's reapplication periods, I think that emails or people telling people, I think, would be probably enough at that point, but.
If it's in the bylaws that we're going to advertise yearly and fairly for it, then we have to include that in our budget.
Absolutely.
That we have expenditures associated with that.
Absolutely.
Kyle, do you think that'd be in probably the council cost center, I would think would make sense? Okay,
Yeah. Yes, good point.
okay. I had a question, if you guys don't mind coming up real quick. I had a couple of ideas of some of the things that you could do, and I just kind of want a quick poll from you if this is something you would be interested in. So the first thing I thought is, we do have, currently, with the police department, they have citizens that they might recognize or officers that they might recognize in conjunction with basically police work and that kind of thing. What would you think about having the Riverton Youth Council be involved in trying to select citizens based on a application process or nomination process from other people for like exemplary citizens for the city of Riverton? Would that be something you would be interested in?
I think students are the best at research, personally, as a researcher, debater. I think as long as there's a criteria defined by you guys so that it's 100% like you guys outline exactly what has to be done, students are willing to put in the work. They're willing to put in the work.
I mean, that'd be a yearly thing that I think could be a good way to, I don't want this to be something where the youth council is just a name-only thing. I'd like to have you actually work.
Yes, yes, of course.
And that's something we're willing to have happen. Like that's,
You're willing to work? If it were you guys, which it's 6 of you as opposed to 9 of you, The other thought that I had, and I just wanted to run these by you, not, this is stuff the council would have to decide. We've talked a little bit about emergency management and getting an emergency management plan together, possibly even maybe a new citizens kind of packet when they come in and get their, sign up for utilities initially. Having you prepare some of that, that might be things like putting information about specific, their representatives, maybe a little bit of some first aid kind of stuff, that sort of thing. Something that could be provided for new citizens when they set up their utilities.
Yeah, Pearson actually mentioned that to us a while back, and we thought it was a great idea.
Okay,
Sure. Definitely something that the council would be capable of covering.
okay. Those were a couple of ideas I had.
I just have one question, one last question, I'm sorry. Aside from the things that would be assigned to you to work on and delve into, what's one thing as a youth council you want to accomplish?
I know you have one already.
I think that as the youth council, we would like to accomplish community involvement, whether that be community service or more like it really, as I said, just involving the community, connecting that bridge between adults and youth and responsibilities and making our environment and community better.
And alongside that, having that bridge existing, I think just the line of communication, being able to have such quick access to you, being able to understand what our classmates don't like about the community, what they want changed, we could change and then fix their problems, right? Like, why do you hate Riverton so much? Oh, it's this one thing that if you were to just talk about it, if you were to just address city council, something could be done about it. I think that line of communication just being established in the first place is kind of the biggest goal.
So there's not like a list waiting, like you want to
There-
turn.
no,
you
no, I haven't-
want it
I haven't
like
made my
curfew
to-do yet.
hours and
No,
that good
no.
stuff. Okay.
Maybe I should get started on that.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Well, actually, so something that I figured out, being a very social person most of the time, is a lot of people kind of get bored and they don't necessarily know what to do. So, like, if we could figure out other opportunities for recreation or just, improving the quality of things that people can do, then that would be awesome.
Well, and Your Honor,
I figured out.
Royce, this is also part of the reason we're doing this. The more kids that we involve in things like this, we're giving them something to do.
Yep.
And there's our representatives out in the audience too, so they could tell you some stuff to do.
Your Honor,
You know,
I was just thinking about, you were saying about coordinating when someone signs up for utilities. Well, maybe you could have some sort of a list maybe that could go in there saying what kind of youth activities there are and the contact information, so people can just reach out and,
Yeah.
they want to play
Fantastic.
softball or whatever.
Or soccer.
Soccer.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's probably more of knowing what things there are to do than there aren't any things to do.
Yeah, and that's part of the line of communication, I think, is that youth at Riverton High School, they don't want to go through the effort of putting that list together. They want a quick, easy access. That's something the youth council would be able to produce. That's something they could have the knowledge of. They could be the contact people, or what there is to do, what opportunities are available.
Youth Council, Insta.
I remember when I was a teenager, I would never go, it was a long time ago. But I would never go tell my mother that I was bored, because she would find something for me to do. So you got to find out for yourself the things to do and go do them, so nobody puts you to work on things you don't want to do.
That's the truth. Hard line.
Good job. I'm glad you're here, Aurora.
Me too.
All right, well, I don't know if there was anything else. Yes, Mr. Butterfield.
Your Honor, if it's okay, I just want to clarify a few things. As it relates to the term, we've established that the preference is probably a 2-year term for the members, but I'm thinking more as it relates to the term of their year of service. It's clear that it starts in August, which correlates to the start of school. I would probably recommend that you correlate the service year with the school year and then suspend during the summer. That may be something that we can discuss as bylaws are established, but that way it just correlates with the school, and there's not a requirement to meet over the summer unless it's necessary. The other thing I'd like to clarify is putting this into action, and as far as when to solicit applications, especially this first round. It's very clear in the proposal when the applications are due. However, we're on a very truncated schedule at this point. And so if the city council wants to get this established and begin its selection process, you could decide to do that before school finishes this year or at the start of next school year and hit it right at the start and then make your selection. So I think we need to decide if you want to hit it at the end of this school year or at the start of next school year. And then as far as the resolution goes, I want to confirm the number of youth council members is what you'd like to see, and that would be 9.
It's a little bit larger than we usually see. I will say 7 tends to be kind of the number you see often. You're dropping things.
I'm all right, I got it.
9 is a little bit large. You might find that out, but you're in a little bit of a different role where you're not necessarily cussing and discussing things that you need to reach an agreement on, which sometimes larger groups, it's harder to do that.
So
You could put a range.
through my through our realization of these programs throughout Wyoming, we've actually found that a lot of places have upwards of 15 to 13. So they've worked.
So maybe-
going to be a little bit lower. But
So maybe 9 would be good.
Well, Your Honor, we could do like a range. We could put 5 to 9 on there so you guys can pick however many applicants you feel are appropriate. You know,
I feel like we'll have plenty of applicants, and I think they're going to be pretty dang good applicants.
okay.
I mean, if we had any of these 6 in there, I think we'd easily be okay.
My recommendation would be to start it on the next school round, just to ensure success of something. We have to be able to take our time and work out kinks and write it as it should be. And I think to make sure that it's a successful program for years to come and not put anybody in a bind and a time crunch and be in a hurry to get it all thrown together and then trying to work out everything that isn't working. I think giving us that little bit of extra time would be beneficial in starting it next year.
Your Honor.
Are you saying next year is in,
The next
we're talking August?
August.
I think that would make sense. I don't think it makes sense to try to jump into this school year, but have a closing date for the applications and then start reviewing applications in August, I think is how it indicates it, with notification selection announced in late August, terms beginning in September.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense, and just have the first term begin this September. Does that make sense?
So, Your Honor, the consensus is to begin advertisement for this at the start of next school year. And at that point, there will be opportunity for you to adopt a resolution. And then once the group is in place, they can work on their bylaws and really hit the ground running.
I think that makes sense.
Yes.
And then just to confirm the membership you wanted to keep at 9 for the resolution.
I think so.
I think 9 is fine. We could do more, but I think as we start it up and see if we want more people, I mean, this is, I think, a group that's less of a get-together and talk and more of a get-together and do something. So I think 9 is good. I think more is better, and I could see upwards of 13 or something, but we could start with 9 and see how it goes.
The more the better. I mean, as long as they have 2 representatives to present whatever it is they're working on routinely, the more kids that can work together and get them involved, it's less kids in trouble out doing something else.
Amen.
9 doesn't mean that only 9 of them can do things. It just means they're just in charge of getting other kids involved to do
That's
things.
right, good.
That's true.
Good, Mike.
Could be 9 people that are on the youth council, but they can involve more
Yeah,
people.
absolutely.
Members at large.
Yeah.
There you go.
Your Honor, I just have a question for the kids. Since this is a youth group, what ideas do you have about how many people you'd like? Would you like 9? Would you like 15? Do you have any
36?
thoughts on that? 36.
430.
Well,
If you have to
I don't have an exact number, but from what I was thinking about was as you've all said, that it's not a matter of like a matter of voting and agreement. It's a matter of get things done. So more people means more things done, and more people means they have more people to work with and work on things or do things. Really.
Do we want to leave it flexible in terms of membership? We could do that.
You could also provide a range, like 9 to 15.
Yeah.
Leave it as undetermined.
Yeah, that's viable.
And then when you pick 36, you'll be like, I don't know. Happens.
Oh,
You
okay.
want to avoid that.
I think it's.
It's a good problem to have if you have.
I know every other group we have sets the number of membership in the resolution. But I will say, we do have some that we have alternates in that are not specified in the resolution.
Your Honor, there's, I think, many ways to address this. As the proposal came forth at 9, I think that's why we're on that number, but if it's more, that's great. We can put a range. Ms. Harris just mentioned it could be a minimum of 9 as well. So those are things that we can bring forward in the resolution, and I believe the resolution establishes the framework and establishes the youth city council. The bylaws then work on all these other details. And I think, just as an aside, I'm really excited about this because civics is not taught enough in today's generation, and I really appreciate the opportunity to have these youth involved in their community and local governments.
I agree. Okay, well, thank you for being here. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you for wanting to be involved. I think that's huge. And hopefully, all of you, with the exception of one, will be willing to put your name in.
2. We have 2 seniors.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And there's another one that helped us form this plan that's not here tonight.
He's not here tonight.
Helping to develop the program is just as exciting.
Oh,
It is.
Ashton,
Good job.
Ashton's not here tonight.
3 seniors. Well, good. Okay, well, you younger ones,
Yeah, sophomores.
thank you, you seniors, thank you for all the work you've done. You've, I think, made a big impact and a positive impact on Riverton and on the high school. So
Thank you.
appreciate you being willing to be involved and appreciate you being willing to shepherd those who are younger than you. That's a big thing.
Happy to do it.
So,
It's
good.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm excited about this. I think this is great. Do you have enough guidance to kind of come back with something that we can kind of finalize? I mean, we're still going to be able to make changes once we get it here, but enough at least for the resolution. And then I guess the initial bylaws would be kind of up to the first members to do, but the resolution, I guess, would set the initial membership selection, and then from there, they can make those changes going forward in the bylaws.
Yes, Your Honor, I believe we have enough.
Yeah, Councilman Carr, I forget that you're invisible.
Thank you. Just a couple quick comments. Definitely wanted to say I'm definitely in support of this, and thank you to the framers that attended tonight. For more clarification. I think this provides a great perspective that the vast majority of communities out there are lacking. I did have a couple questions or comments, and this is more semantical than anything else, but I would definitely want to run the 8 or term limit through Rick Sollers, just to make sure that we're not opening up the city to any liability with those that could be over 18 years old and considered adults. And then that would certainly revamp the resignation section. And under meetings, where we say a meeting agenda shall be posted in accordance with the current city of Riverton policies and procedure, the city is statutorily bound to advertise meetings. We may want to reword that a bit. And then that was addressed. And then just under duties, I would probably add or like to see some sort of verbiage that the youth city council or youth council would accept directives or requests from the Riverton City Council, because we could use them potentially as a research arm of the council. And then
Would other duties as assigned work for that, Councilman Carr?
I'm sorry.
Would other duties as assigned there work for that?
I think so.
Okay.
And then be in a bit of conflict with terms of office section, we may want to just look at that. So,
Okay.
again, great job. Very happy to see this, and thank you again for framers showing up and presenting their ideas. Thank you.
Sounds good. You hear that? You get to be called framers.
Fancy.
That's pretty cool. Founding fathers and mothers, you could even say. Anything else, Councilman Carr?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you for being here. I know you have an early bedtime because you're all very, very young and it's 7 o'clock. We also have a lot of other business to do, so thank you for being here. Feel free to reach out to council members on an individual basis too with ideas. I mean, that's what we're here for. Some of you may not be able to vote yet, and that's okay. Some of you may be able to vote here coming up very soon. So that's great too. Thanks for being here. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you for your time.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Just one concern. Are we going to advertise in the summer so that we can accept in the summer and then start in the fall? I think that's the best course of action.
I think so. I think the idea being that, and I mean, even as we had here, annual deadline established every June 1st, and then solicit, I guess probably as we usually do, would be until like July 31st, and then have the selection that first week, and then,
Your Honor, that would be good to clarify, because the impression I had before was we would wait for the school year to start and then advertise. So if you want to do it differently, we need to get that feedback.
I feel like because Your Honor, I feel like they would begin their duties at the school year.
September.
In our impression, the way that we had thought, it would be the application in the summer, reviewed in the summer, start their duties in the fall.
that's kind of what I was.
What are you
thinking when we
thinking,
were talking
Councilman
about that.
Johnson? What are you guys thinking?
I
Councilwoman
was just
Waters.
thinking that it might not be a bad idea to do it before the school year ends and advertise to
a
the
good
eighth
idea.
graders as well. That
Okay.
way they all have a chance to think about it
Yeah.
and.
That's a really long.
That's a good idea.
That's a really long period for applications. I mean, if you started before the school year ends, you're talking about like May to July.
We could just do just the end, accept the applications just then, and then review them.
Well, but I mean, even the proposal says you'd be accepting applications really year-round.
Oh,
So,
What if we did 2 weeks before the start of school and 2 weeks into the school year so that you hit the summer kids? It's 1 month of advertising. And then for those kids that don't get the information through the summer or whatever, then they're also given it the first 2 weeks of school.
so maybe you'd be looking at closing the applications at the end of August, and then the selection process would be
The first
into
part of
September. That, I think, could work well, because I know a lot of kids, they don't quite figure out their lives until they get into school.
And something similar, we could just have like the school district put a flyer in the 8th grade. I concur with Carla, but like give them a flyer that this is going to be available to incoming freshmen. Watch for advertisements or something like that.
That way, at least they're aware of it.
They're
That's
aware of
kind
it and they can share.
Your Honor, my only concern is that sometimes it's so busy at the beginning of school that we're going to lose some good candidates. Like, they might just be like, oh my gosh, I've got so much going on, and I've got to, they might not be thinking. And I know in the summer it gets busy too, but I'm just thinking, just thinking. I'm just throwing out my thoughts, that's all. At the end of the school year, it almost is like more quiet, like right now. Things are, they've got soccer and some track and stuff, but like the spring sports are not as intense almost as the fall with football and all of that stuff. It just gets so crazy in the fall that it's almost a little bit, I'm just talking.
Yeah,
okay?
no, I hear you.
I'm just saying, since I'm a teacher and I see it,
Well, and whatever we do,
Our
I mean, people will.
Our recreation,
to advertise with them,
advertise with
that's a wonderful idea.
With what?
Councilwoman, that's a
Our
wonderful idea.
recreation.
That's a wonderful idea.
I think we ought to just throw a lot of things at our rec.
Yeah, like, who's there?
They're fabulous.
Agree to it
But-
tonight they're asking
Yeah, like, right. But I think that, like, you're right, we hit the eighth graders. I think that now is honestly the best time. I have a lot of kids that are just, it's winding down, and this is, like, they're
Just coasting to the
they're
end, right?
coasting to the end. James was like, I did nothing in 2 classes today. I maybe shouldn't say that, but like,
on record, don't worry.
like, they're just like, it's kind of the time to be thinking about it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, and I guess we're
And-
not going to be able to start advertising for this until we get a resolution figured out and some
Sure,
other things figured
sure.
out, so.
But I'm just
this year, at
saying,
least.
May may be the right, like, time, because August, I'm telling you, they're busy, like these,
Welcome to council.
yeah,
Well, and
It's
really,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I guess if there's no reason we couldn't promote it in May, saying that the application's gonna be due,
Oh, sure.
let's say by the middle of August,
Sure.
so that I think we don't wanna waste a month of their school year
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
them
yeah,
in
yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So if we did a little, promotion splash
think
in
that's
May, and then hit it the first couple weeks of August, saying, okay, we want your app in
I think that's a great idea.
by
That's perfect.
August 15th, we'd have some time to do some
That's-
interviews
yeah, I think
and,
that's perfect.
and that kind of stuff to try to have them in
Yeah.
place September 1 at
And
the
have the
latest.
application online, have it available, so they can even fill it out whenever.
Yeah, you can
I
do it
think it's a
whenever,
great idea.
but, yeah,
Is there consensus for that then?
Put it on the city's.
just throw it anywhere.
I'm just telling you, I'm done.
Your Honor, I want to make sure we're clear, because it's the exact opposite of what we were talking about.
Advertising in the
Whatever,
summer, but
just do it.
also wanting to
Do it. Do the
advertise,
things.
at least next year, possibly not this year, but advertising in the summer, but also at the end of the school year in May-ish.
So, Your Honor, we'll get the resolution to establish the youth council, begin solicitation at that time, have it work through the summer, and then at the start of the school year, there'll be opportunity at some point at the start of the school year, opportunity to make the selection, and then they'll have their appointments.
Start.
We'll get into the creation of the bylaws.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Now,
Clear as mud.
Your Honor, that works. I think it'd be great.
it's hard when you have a lot of people.
Hurry up
That are
before we change our
trying to talk.
mind.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing we have up is community contracts for services proposal. I guess, real quick, before we get to your report, Mr. Butterfield, any of those that are here for community contracts for services that have any time constraints that would like to be heard first for any reason? Because then we might go in reverse alphabetical order, because I think we've gone in alphabetical order in the past, and then Katz just gets to go first. Sorry, Eagles Hope. You chose the name.
You chose the name.
Okay, could you give us your report, please, before we get into that, Mr. Butterfield?
Your Honor, Ms. Harris has done a lot of work on this. If it would be okay, I'd prefer.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry. You're the one, Mia.
It's okay. Thank you. So each year, as we get planning in our budget planning process, which we are deep in at this point, the city of Riverton does receive direct distribution funding from the state of Wyoming from over-the-cap federal mineral royalties. Primarily, we use this money as one-time purchases or expenses related to capital projects. And in recent years, we've also used it to help fund our operational costs. But the city council has always made it an effort to be sure to give a little bit of that money to some of our local community service providers. These organizations operate independently of the city of Riverton. They are not a part of the city of Riverton's budget, and they're not considered city departments. The staff began advertising in February of this year, and we have opened it up through our local media sources, our website, and public advertising that we are accepting applications for community contracts for services. We did receive a total of 14 submissions this year for funding requests totaling $517,268. This is just an informational meeting this evening, giving you the opportunity to hear their funding requests, and it will help you to make determinations in the funding allocations as we proceed through the budget planning process. And with that, I think we can stand for, Mayor, if you'd like to call up your contestants.
Contestants. So we have each of the applications here in our packets already, so you don't need to feel like you need to repeat everything that's in the packets. This meeting is really an opportunity for you to briefly describe anything that you think are the most salient points, as well as put a face to the names that we have in our applications. So if you could try to keep it as brief as possible, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 14? I might have added one. Sometimes I do that. 14 or 15 of you, we'll find out. I don't know if you've been through this process before. A lot of you have. It can get long. So to try to avoid it getting long, I think just try to keep it quick, to the point, give us an opportunity to see you, hear from you, and a little bit about why you think that you would be an appropriate organization to be receiving funding from the city. We have not, as of yet, decided how much this will be this year. And that's discussion we'll have for another time, but this is just an opportunity for us to kind of hear from you briefly. Okay? So, as I said, Wind River Transportation Authority, do we have a representative here from WRTA? Oh, there you are. I saw you come in.
I was like, where's Tim?
Oh, he's losing his.
Oh.
Well, we're gonna put him at F now for FCAG, not WRTA. All right, Wind River Prosperity. We have a representative here. Yes, thanks. Come on up.
Okay, I get to go first. My name is Kimberly Hendricks. I am with Wind River Prosperity. We are a brand-new nonprofit organization. This is our first year. We aim to help the youth, specifically teenager-type years, around the Riverton general area through skateboarding and other outdoor activities. My husband and I own the skate shop. We noticed a really large need, and we've been doing it for the last couple of years, not as a nonprofit, and, well, we can't afford that. So we started a nonprofit in order to be able to expand on what we were doing. Since you guys have all this right here in front of you, you can see we just started our school incentive program. We're still getting, well, no one's actually signed up yet. The flyer just went live at the high school last week. So we're hoping to get some kids signed up with that. And we have an Easter egg hunt coming up on Easter. Our rec board was kind enough to fund that. So what we are looking for the rest of this year is to continue or really be able to fund our school incentive program as we roll over into the next school year, and to be able to put on like a free community skateboarding event. We've done that in previous years. Miss Pearson Lewis actually helped out and baked some cookies for the last one. And now, so she knows a little bit about what we've done before. We'd like to keep that going and, be able to make it larger for, the community. It's been great, the way we've done it before. In the past, kids come, they'll bring grandma, random people at the park will stop by. Everybody has a lot of fun. So in other words, we're pretty much trying to do free things around Riverton for youth, specifically some of the more at-risk teenagers.
Okay, who's on your board?
Our board of directors is myself, my husband, Sean Hendricks. We have Jesse. I didn't put it on here. I'm sorry. I'm really new to all this. She used to be Buffalo Meat, but she just changed her name.
Are you here, Jesse?
She's not. I'm the only one from the board that came. I'm so sorry. I'm the only
okay.
one from the board that came.
I was trying to help out.
Yeah, and Robert Dodrell.
Okay. And you're a 501c3 then?
Correct.
Great. School incentive program is basically something where you would be helping at-risk youth, offering a chance to earn equipment through regular attendance and passing grades at school, huh?
We've already met with the principal over there. We got their whole approval, so kids can come and apply to be part of the program. If we figure out they're a good fit, we can be right in contact with the school district themselves to make sure that they are staying out of trouble, they are attending, and they are passing, and then they can earn gear of their choice.
Okay. Any questions for Mrs. Hendricks?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment because you presented at the rec board as well. And I just wanted to provide you with an update because we had a rec board meeting last night, and Dean Peranto has been instrumental in getting the skate park lights turned back on.
I wanted to
that
talk
happens
about
tonight.
Oh, that does happen. Thank you, because we've driven by and I was like, they haven't seen them on yet, but I didn't know how long that would
It
take.
has been taken care of. The rec board is going to assume that cost, and those lights will be turned back on tonight.
That's amazing. I got a lot of kids that are going to be really excited to hear that, so that's great.
I actually spoke with Mr. Peranto last night, and he told me that, so that was exciting.
Yeah, that was one of the things that had been on our to-do list, and it was really great of our rec board to take that over, and it makes the skate park and the park itself, I think, a lot safer and more family-friendly.
Great. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Hendricks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Last chance skate shop. Yes?
Last stand.
Last stand. Last chance. Last stand. Last chance. That sounds kind of,
Less daunting than
yeah,
last stand.
last stand. Okay. Volunteers of America, do we have somebody here for, yes, there you are, sir. If you could, when you come up, tell us your name. I know who you are, but.
Sure. Hey, City Council, good evening. My name's Brad Hendry. I'm the Program Director over at the Center of Hope. And we are a nonprofit that serves our community through substance abuse treatment. We offer 2 levels of care at our facility based on the ASAM criteria. The first one is the social detox level, which is often most people's first step into seeking recovery. To be qualified for social detox services, individuals are either actively detoxing on substance, whether that's alcohol or drugs, or they are looking for a safe place to be in a drug-free environment while they are waiting to go to further treatment. The only thing we ask from our social detox clients is that they be medically cleared, which is that a provider has signed off saying that they are stable for our level of care while they're there with us. Our second level of care that we offer is the 3.1 transitional level of care, which is like a post-treatment level of care. So it's for those that are coming back into the community that have been gone to a inpatient treatment facility and are working to get employment. They're looking for stable housing. They're looking for these items. And so basically they're trying to just get back in the community post-treatment. Our funding request is specifically to support our social detox programs. The 3-1 clients often have a funding source in place when they arrive with us, but that's not always the case for our detox clients. We have 4 female beds and 4 male beds. We love to be able to see all those beds filled. But when we're looking at clients and, we're not sure what they're going to do, whether they're going to stay and commit and talk to us or not, sometimes dollars are something that is a barrier, and the more funding we can have, the better we can say yes, even if they seem a little risky on the front end. Any questions or anything like that?
So you currently have 4 or 8 social detox beds, is that correct?
Yes.
And you are taking people, but you're saying 3.1 program funded through the state, a lot easier to be saying, yeah, I mean, if somebody's interested in getting treatment, they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Social detox, kind of depends.
Yes, so we are part of our detox program, and as we're encouraging them to consider further treatment if that's something they want to do, we're helping them get set up with Medicaid, which now covers behavioral health services, which then would fund their stay. But if they decide to leave before we can help them get set up, or they don't have that in place, then we kind of eat those costs. So,
Any questions for Mr. Hendry?
okay, well, thank you guys for your.
Thanks for coming in. We have your application here, so I mean, not trying to be be dismissive.
Oh, yeah, no.
So far,
Very good.
I would say you and Ms. Hendricks have done excellent at getting us started for
Very
tonight.
good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Brad. All right, Riverton Volunteer Fire Department. Are you going to be able to stick around the whole time this time?
We'll see.
Because last year, who was it that ducked out? I forget.
Jake and Tyler left me to this part.
Which is then when you decided to become chief.
Yep. Well, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Jesse Cassidy. I am the Fire Chief of the Riverton Volunteer Fire Department. To my left is Eric Nallen, the Assistant Chief, and to my right, Tyler Goff, the Treasurer. All of you know what the fire department does, so I don't think I need to explain that, but I have some interesting numbers that I've collected over the spring. The Riverton Fire Department in the year 2024 responded to 351 alarms. We have a total of 43 active members. We service 23,000 citizens over 120 square miles. In the month of March, last year to date, we'd had 69 alarms with 25 in March. This year to date, we'd had 75 alarms with 24 in March, so already busy. To put that into context, the entirety of Fremont County in 12 battalions has 150 volunteer firemen as well as some paid administrative staff. They responded to 370 alarms. Lander City Fire, has a little over 30 members and responded to 140 alarms. So we are a very, very busy fire department. These firemen work extremely hard and they volunteer all the time. We're completely volunteer from top down. In addition to our responsibilities with alarms, we also perform all the light maintenance on the equipment, buildings, and grounds, as well as keep up a rigorous training program to keep everybody trained and ready to go. The money that we're asking for, the $5,000, goes directly to the benefit of the membership. The $2,000 to the benevolent fund, that benevolent fund is given out at the chief's discretion for firemen and firemen's families that are in need due to, for example, a medical emergency, just to help them take care of those issues. The $2,000 for the reserve account can only be spent by majority vote of the membership of the fire department, and that goes to projects that benefit all of us. An example of that, we have a brand new trailer mounted barbecue grill that we use and utilize in community events. It was paid for through that account. We'll use it for the National Night Out in August. And then $1,000 to the mutual aid account. The mutual aid account is set up across the entire state. Firemen pay their dues yearly, and then when they pass away, a death benefit is given to their family. In Riverton, we've been able to fully fund our mutual aid account and pay for that benefit for our members so it doesn't come out of their pocket. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Appreciate your hard work. That's a lot of calls.
Yep, we are very busy.
And I will say that anytime I have gone to fire department events where you cook food, it's always good.
Thank you. We have some good cooks.
I know that sounds silly, but when you have the open house and everything, that trailer definitely gets some use. I know you also have other events throughout the year that you're involved with, and really appreciate that, and definitely appreciate how much work you've put in over the last year. You've done great work, so. Any questions or anything for the fire department?
I just want to thank you for everything you do. We would all be in a heap of trouble if we didn't have the fire department.
Absolutely will.
Yeah.
And thank you, guys. Appreciate the
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Fire Prevention Month is?
October. Yep, and we will be very busy in October. Our seal drive is in September to get out fire prevention information, and then we'll be in schools doing fire prevention week, so.
Make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector in your house. Make sure you have a smoke detector in your house.
Yep,
Batteries regularly.
yep, and pre-plan escape routes, absolutely.
Any other reminders?
Those are the big ones right now. We're starting into grass season, so people burning and using burn barrels, we all look and smell like we do because we just got back from a pretty large grass fire north of town, so.
I think I drove by that one.
Yep, it's here, and it's only gonna get worse as the summer progresses, so hopefully, people just be kind of careful out there. It's dry and looks like it's gonna be drier.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely,
Appreciate your
thanks.
hard work. All right. Riverton Help Center.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Your Honor, and all the folks on the council. You've seen us before, so we'll tell our little story as fast as possible. We're the Riverton Help Center, and we're on the south end of St. James Episcopal Church. We've been around for 21 years now, and we help people with their financial difficulties. And we have a pantry, we have bus passes, fuel cards, a little bit of clothing, but not much because we really don't have a lot of room. But I want our manager, who is Carol Chezik here, to tell us what we've done in the last year. She has done an amazing job, so she's got the numbers.
Can you introduce everybody with you, including yourself, please, for everyone?
Sue Rector, this is Amy Mays, and Bonita Knox. And we have
This young lady.
and Pat Storr, and we have one more who isn't here, Stacy Dorr.
And is this your board then?
This is the whole of the board, yes.
Minus Stacy.
Minus Stacy and Sue and Ralph Estelle and Sue Tonkin.
Okay,
Okay?
come on up.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. So, since we were here last year, with our exposure, which has been really, really good in the community, we've increased the emergency service need in our community. And so we're here to hope to attain more funding so that we can continue with our ministry. Last year, we served a total of 235 individuals. That doesn't include the members of the family. So this year, we're starting to include that because those members, which can go as high as 10 people in one household, do attain our services. So we thought it would be appropriate to include them. So far this year, this is just the first quarter, and we have a total of 110. So it's increasing the need for emergency services. It continues to still be rent. In the first quarter, our budget has gone now to $9,300, and that's extensive. It's because the rent is really high, not too much in utilities, but as Sue had mentioned, we provide fuel cards, which has been an accessory. We're on a limited basis because of our funding. We are trying to act more in the capacity of what Salvation Army would do, not just to limit with rent and utilities and bus passes and et cetera, but on an extenuating basis, if somebody comes in for a need, we try to listen to what it is and try to make a determination if we have the funds to help them. Sometimes people in the community need to travel. Greyhound bus. I have not yet done that, but it's on our agenda if it comes up again that we do want to try to help somebody get to where they want to go. The other day, I had a vet in my office, and he wanted to get new tires for his car so that he could go to visit medical personnel in the Casper area. So we were able to partner with another organization and we helped them. So that's why we're here today. And so I hope that we can attain a little bit more funding to keep our mission going, because I don't really, in my capacity, 3 years in, I honestly don't know of another organization that helps on an emergency basis. I really don't. So if there's something that somebody here knows that they can pass on to me, I would gladly like to know, because I think that we're the only emergency organization here in our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And just wanted to clarify, the funding you're asking for would be for general operating expenses, including a percentage of personnel costs.
Correct.
Because the foundation grant are for direct client services.
Correct.
Getting personnel cost is one of the biggest difficulties.
It is. It is. It continues to be.
How big was your year last year for the Red Kettle campaign compared to years previous?
It stayed about the same, to be honest.
Okay.
Yes, very proud of that. Very proud.
Good. Last year was one of the biggest years you had, if I recall correctly.
As far as I know, it was. And for whatever reason, the 24 year might have been just a little bit lower for whatever reason. However, we had to consider, it's hard to get volunteers, to be honest. And the volunteer is the essence of the campaign. So if you don't have 76 hours of a body sitting either at Walmart or Smith's, you're not going to make the goal.
So one of the goals is for 76 volunteer hours.
Mm-hmm.
And in order
I mean, that's total. That's total in well, another thing too, I just remembered. So the year before, we had 6 weeks. This year, 24, we had 5.
Oh, wow.
So-
And yet still came pretty close.
We did. Yeah.
So you're looking for volunteers for people to ring bells.
Yep.
Which anybody who is here and is capable of standing
If you
and
wanna
ringing a
give
bell can do.
Yes.
I'll be calling.
And it's easy to sign up. You just have to send an email and give a date and time that works. You do it at Walmart and at Smith's, and this tends to be around the holidays.
It starts it starts the weekend of Thanksgiving and, the weekend before it can, and then it ends right before Christmas.
And part of your grant requires a certain number of hours, so the more people involved, the better.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
And we want
you-
to thank you and your family for being so
Well, the kids loved it, yeah,
They enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They had a lot of fun. And they were pretty cute. They sometimes are, sometimes they're not. It just depends
But
on.
we also advertise too. We put out advertisements. We have our call list. We have a session at the Day in the Park. And so we get individuals to sign up and we make sure we call them, but we advertise in the paper, so.
Good.
And also on Facebook. So.
Well, we'll do it again this year.
Good. And we'll be looking forward to it.
And I'm sure there's other council members up here that I can guilt into doing it.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank
Right,
you for
thanks, Ms.
listening.
Chesak.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Rector. Oh, did anyone on the council have any questions? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
Good.
On to Chamber of Commerce. Somebody that we have never seen before at our Riverton City Council meeting.
Thank you. I doubt that.
What are you gonna?
I'm Cindy Olson Roden with the Riverton Chamber and Visitor Center. Good evening, Mayor and Council. One thing I want to point out is that we have basically 2 entities within our organization. We are the Chamber of Commerce and we are the Visitor Center for Riverton. So we've got kind of a double duty here. I don't want to repeat a lot that's already in the packet that we submitted, but the Riverton Chamber and Visitor Center provides many services to Riverton businesses and the Riverton community. We promote, support, and provide opportunities for our businesses and nonprofit organizations. We provide networking opportunities along with educational events and resources. We foster economic development and tourism, which in turn helps our businesses. We advocate for the interests of these businesses, and here are a few examples of doing that, and I'm not going to read those off to you. One thing in our packet, our application, those figures were based on last year. I expect this year will be, those figures will be a lot more as far as our convention bags and visitor totals and our membership will be increased. And I apologize, I didn't introduce Devin. Devin Keller Hall is on our board. She's the secretary. And I don't know if you want to know who's on our board or not.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so the president is James Bunker. Vice president is Kathy Rosenthal. Treasurer is Leo Kasarag. Secretary Devin Keller Hall. Then we have Julie Buller. Alma Law. Morgan Doyle, Terry Hurd, and Victor Allen, yes. And so I brought Devin along with me today. So we want to say that we hope you see the value in the Riverton Chamber and the Visitor Center and what we do provide to the businesses and community. And we thank you for your consideration and thank you for your continued support as well.
Thank you. And Devin, you didn't bring your little puppy that you brought to the Subway grand opening.
No, he's at home sleeping, lucky guy. He had to work hard today.
And then it looks like you have been receiving TAD funding, but this would be just for more of a general use, if I'm not mistaken, website maintenance, Destination Riverton, printing distribution of visitor convention relocation bags.
Right.
Promotion, staffing not covered by TAD, rent and utilities.
Right.
And then you'd had that as membership. And then I guess my question for you, it seems like you've got a lot more members. Am I correct? How's membership compared to years past?
You know, it's coming up since well, as we all know, the chamber is in about its 1-year position of rebuilding. So there has been a lot of new members. I came on October 14th. I'm gaining new members. We've got some that are going to higher tiers. There were quite a few members that did not renew in the last couple of years, and we're getting some of those back. So things are going very well. We are rocking and rolling.
Okay. Any questions?
Yes.
Councilwoman Johnson?
Just for clarification, Cindy, hi, thank you. The Destination Riverton Map Directory Design and Content Creation that's listed on here, is this something different, or is this part of the Wind River Visitors Council that was grant funded?
No, this would be something new. We want to produce a directory, possible map of some sort. We just don't know quite, how in depth we want to do that. I know Du Bois and Lander has one. It's a pretty thick directory. Basically, we want something that we can give to visitors and put into our visitor bags that showcase our assets and what there is to do in Riverton. And as I'm going to continue promoting, I would like to see Riverton as the rendezvous city, the base camp, where you come here to Riverton and we've got all the hotels, the restaurants, the shopping. You come here and stay as a tourist, and you do your day trips from Riverton to Du Bois, to Lander, Boyson, Thermopolis, and Riverton be your base camp. And that's how I would like to see us branded for our tourism.
So how did we come up with those numbers?
Just based on getting prices on like a 2-3 page pamphlet showcasing our attractions and what there is to do in Riverton.
So it's, sorry for the barrage of questions, I'm just trying to understand it.
Yeah.
So it's more advertisement?
Yes, it would be. It would be a hand brochure, but it also, hopefully we can do a digital model as well onto the website with a QR code, but we will have an actual paper pamphlet brochure. And that's what and we're not going to print a bunch of them because there will be a QR code to go to the website and see the same thing. Trying to accommodate both audiences, the ones that want something in their hands and the ones that want digital.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Mr. Bailey, you're our liaison. Anything in particular?
I think they're doing a great job and out promoting Riverton, which is what we all need.
I would note, in terms of events you're involved in, we've got the First Fridays, after-hours networking, agriculture appreciation benefit. You've been doing the First Responders Appreciation Benefit, I think, for 3-4 years? Maybe three.
3, yep.
Meet your legislator, been involved with the Rendezvous City Beef Roundup. Councilman Carr knows what that is. Visible right now. Community Thanksgiving Dinner, Soapbox Derby, Trails Initiative, Wayfinding Project, which has also been something that I think Wind River Visitors Council has been working with, Balloon Rally, and you're trying to, and been doing a lot of good work with being a hub for nonprofits as well.
Yes, we are.
Involving them with the...
And I just want to say, any of the nonprofits that are here, please, if you're not already involved with the chamber, please come and see me, give me a call. We'll get you involved and get you the support that the chamber provides.
Okay,
so.
Great.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I just want to say, I think you've done an incredible job in the last couple of years, so thank you.
Well, thank you to the board. I've only been here 6 months, so, but they've done well, and I'm happy to be here and plan to be here for some time, so.
Good.
And then-
Next time, bring your puppy, Deb.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have our recreation, who I have brought up a couple of times just to try to give you things to do.
We appreciate that. Me as our presentation. You might. Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks. Why am I? Hand delivered.
Didn't bring everybody food?
I haven't even eaten today. I have food and my son came in and took it from me in my classroom.
Is that
No way.
No. That's not us.
Yeah, there's Dave. Yeah, there you go. I think I forgot to eat today.
Good.
We do need
Recess. Do we want to do
some
this?
point.
Let's get done with these guys. And then
Let's get these guys done, yeah.
I was just saying for them to do it, but they already got it up.
Yeah.
So the infamous Mary Axthelm, who I seem to remember there's something recognizing you coming up. Could you tell us about that?
Oh, no, no,
Oh, yeah.
no.
I can't.
No, it's such an honor. Mike, you go for it.
Okay,
Mike, you tell us about it.
okay, I will try. So Mary's being honored this year by the Riverton Boys and Girls Club. And she was one of the founding members and.
It was
Boys
a
and Girls
framer.
Club.
I was a framer.
Framer, yes.
This is our word of the day.
Word of the day.
And so it's going to be a great honor to honor Mary, and they've got a great speaker lined up also.
Wow.
And again, it's a fundraising breakfast for the Boys and Girls Club, who has been expanding tremendously, improving. Again, they took over the Ash Grove School building. And so they've got a facility that they're working out of, and so everything's puttering along very good, so.
Yay.
And what day is
The
that?
24th of April at 6,
23rd.
23rd.
23rd. Wednesday, the 23rd.
See, you could have told us about this.
Well, she just doesn't want to.
And
I'm a scheduler, so I know.
so,
And there's
everybody be there.
no cost for the breakfast, except they do want you to make a meaningful donation to the Boys and Girls Club. And it's a great organization and a great opportunity
Absolutely.
to support a very incredible organization with one of the framers being Mary Axthelm.
Yay.
So anyway.
Thank you.
Because you're not good at tooting your own horn, we will toot it for you.
Thank you very much.
Tell us about our rec, which is just something you tend to do in your spare time.
Right. Well, we appreciate you guys. Thank you. I know tonight is a long night for you guys, and we've been here for 17 years, so I know about this. So I wanted to start for the new council people just quickly and to remind you guys of the funding history for our recreation. In 2006, the city of Riverton budgeted a line item of $300,000 for the city's recreation. And for the next 2 years, it predated everybody here, but I was here 2006 to 2008. For whatever reasons, they couldn't hold on to a director. So it just didn't work. And at that time, I was working for the CWC in the Workforce and Community Ed department, and the dean of that department reached out to the city and said, could we partnership? Could we merge our community ed with our recreation and offer a complete recreation program to the city? And that was in 2008, and at the time it was budgeted at $145,000. 17 years later, we're still being budgeted, which is a win, at 127, and so that's again our request for this year. I want to note, though, when you're looking at our budgets, that those are our actual numbers. Those numbers are what we submit to the CWC Business Office annually. So those are our true numbers. Investing in an affordable recreation program is vital, absolutely vital for our community, for the well-being, the safety, and the unity of our community, and it's been an honor to be a part of that. Our mission is to have affordable opportunities to all people in our community, and I'll let Addie talk about that briefly.
So yes, we want to strengthen our community and enrich the lives of everyone, and we wanted to give a little example of that and what that looks like in action. So, for example, it's a recovering alcoholic who said that they were looking forward to our weekly adult leagues as a way to stay engaged and maintain sobriety. It's a shy young girl who blossomed during our National Girls and Women's in Sports Day program,
leaving with friends, and eagerly asking when the next event would be. It's a single mom bringing her daughter to our summer movies in the park as an affordable night out. It's a high school student who discovered a newfound passion and career path while working in our summer program after navigating bullying in their entire life. It's a woman who felt anxious about exercising alone, but found a sense of community through our fitness classes. It's providing retirees with a sense of belonging through our pickleball programs. It's a retired woman who recently relocated to Riverton and signed up in nearly every program available to her to meet new people and become an active part in our community. And it's offering a rec center experience for all through our free open gyms, including children from a group home looking for a place to play, middle schoolers eager to participate in their favorite sports, families wanting to expend some energy before bedtime, and adults joining for pickup basketball. So that is just small examples of everything we try and the people that we serve, as we do try to serve everyone. This next slide gives you another example of our mission, but in numbers. As you can see, we focus a lot on the youth specific, with the first big portion of that graph being all youth age, but we do try to serve as much as we can from 1 year old to 81.
Is there a reason why you don't serve anybody under 1?
It's just a tough age group for us. Other programs we're a part of but could not be put in that graph because they're not a part of our online registration include our family-friendly bingo, which was one of our most fun. We look forward to that so much every month. Our community tailgate, and just more that we either do on our own or help serve, and we assume, based on numbers, papers-wise, that it's about 1,700 additional people that we serve throughout those programs.
So quickly, what's new in our world? One of our things that we focus on is trying to bring new programs into our community and trying to figure out what people need, get based on feedback. And we, on just this slide alone, these are our 12 new programs that we've had in the last year, from toddlers to seniors, from theater to beekeeping to firearm safety. We do it all. Real Life Heroes was very special to us this year. We got to honor our police department, fire department, and the ambulance service came, and we brought our littlest citizens, and they got to climb through the trucks and had a really great time. So that's kind of what's new in our world, and we're always looking for new things. One of the questions we often get is, what about a rec center? Why don't we have a rec center? And as much as I agree that it would be a wonderful addition, we've done what we could in the last 17 years without one, and the key to that has been partnerships and building those relationships. And this is most of the partnerships that we operate and work with, and that doesn't even include the individuals that we partner with to bring their passions and their interests to our community through classes. So 2025 and beyond, we heard you loud and clear, Youth Council. We will help in whatever way you guys need us to. We are more than happy to do that. But we do, as I mentioned, always do 3 new programs each season. We have 3 seasons, spring, summer, and fall. And we look forward to those classes that the community wants to see. We're always listening. We're always soliciting advice and feedback. And for you as a council, we want your goals as well. What do you envision? Mike and I have had long talks about what do we envision for Riverton recreation? And we're always open to that. And this feedback you get from your constituents, we're also open to all of it. We love it. We love the feedback in any direction. We want to be the best and serve our community the best we can. We view ourselves as a catalyst for community strength, shaping a more active, vibrant, better connected, healthier, and resilient community. And it's been an honor to do so. And we thank you because you are our self-funder. We are from the city, created by the city for the city. We do not have another governing body. And it's been an honor that every year for 17 years you've allowed us this privilege to serve our community. Questions for us?
Receiving funds from District 25 Recreation Board?
Yep.
Or the summer program, generally speaking?
Yes, and that is a completely separate budget, and we fund that summer academy program, not 100%, but majority. And that's a free program that we do. We see about 1,000 kids in the first 3 weeks of June. It's intense.
Yes. Okay, and then you had talked about the relationship with Central Wyoming College. I guess tell me just how that works, because you are housed at CWC.
We are, yep. So they I don't know the proper term, but they're in-kind donation for all of their services, their HR, their business office, their IT support, the rent facility that we are, printers, everything, all of that, I think is $42,000 is their in-kind, how they calculated that when I asked last year. I did not ask this year, so it may be more.
When you asked in terms of how much?
How they value, yeah, what their value in what we're doing is. And then they do also contribute a portion to our retirements, I believe, and benefits.
Cool. Any questions?
I have many questions, but I just, I've lived here a long time and I had no idea the work and the activities that this organization does. And I won't be able to attend on April 23rd, but I want to say thank you for your dedication to the community and the absolute great that you have done.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you later and appreciate all your hard work.
Yeah, we got surprises planned for that morning.
Thank you so much.
Okay, good. All right. Pause for life.
Good evening, Your Honor and Council people. My name is Lonnie Slack. I am the new director of PAWS. This is Ashley Aragon, the co-director. No, Pam did not go anywhere. She left such big footprints, I need her around to keep me going. And we have Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
He's our mascot for the evening. He's approximately 2 years old if you'd like to take him home. We have not had him very long, and he got a new lamb, so I'm sorry you guys had to listen to him speaking his lamb earlier. So a little bit about us, as if you do not know, we're a nonprofit. We're a no-kill shelter. We work diligently to keep critters safe, off the streets, out of mischief, if you will. I think our biggest problems that we currently are suffering right now is our back area. Concrete's expensive. We've got to get some better drainage and pour a lot of concrete for our pads, because currently the big dogs, when they're outside, they're in the dirt unless it's raining or snowed, then they're in the mud. And I would not just say it's just mud, it's other things too. But so if we had the concrete, would be really very, very helpful. You guys have our numbers, but generally speaking, last year alone, we took 357 intakes in. So the critters gave us 8 days off for the whole year. So that's quite a substantial amount, and that would just be city in pounds. It's not people that owner surrenders, county. Yeah, so the numbers are pretty high, but this is just what's coming in as an impound from Riverton proper city limits. And with that, we're in a kind of a uniquely hard position. We don't own the building. Obviously, city owns the building. That blocks us out of a large number of grants because city owns its government entity, rural area. I mean, there's just a whole lot of, the grants are really, really hard to chase. And I have several people. We've got good grant writers, but as you know, I work at the college. We have grant writers there. I have them looking. It's just greatly difficult to be able to find that niche for a grant that would fit this community, or us to fit that niche. So hopefully you really consider our funding request. I know it's probably illegal to bribe you guys, but I guarantee you I can supply you with all the wet kisses and cold as that you need. I'm gonna let Ashley talk to you guys a bit. She's a bit more putting fun things together with our fundraising.
I get to do all the fluff and pretty stuff. So we just, we're trying to do a fundraiser every month, so we're busy. We just did our Harry Potter sorting ceremony. You can go on our Facebook site and see my other personality, Professor Meow Gonagle, sorting our dogs and cats. But for the whole month of April, you can still donate to, there's 4 different Harry Potter Hogwarts houses. We've got Ravenpaw, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, and Slitherkitty. And for $5, you can donate 5 points to whichever house. And then at the end of April, whichever house wins will draw from the raffle of people that donated, and they win a big old Harry Potter merch basket supplied by me and my mom, and Nita donated it too. Then next month, May 10th, we have bingo. It's going to be over at the fairgrounds in the Little Wind building. And the Spud Man, he's going to be having his, I'm on a loaded baked potato kick, so that was I'm riding ride or die. We got to have loaded baked potatoes. And then livestock is going to be there doing the drinks. We also do Day at the Park. We have Wyoming Paint and Create coming up. We're going to do in July. And then, of course, our Paws and Pearls event, our, what's the word? Theme, Phantom of the Opera. So that will be in September. So all these fundraisers are another way that we are able to get funds to help with all our fur babies. You know, and it's a very rewarding experience to work for our small town shelter. I've been on the board for 3-ish years, and some days it consumes my life. Just ask my husband. But I love it. I love working with the dogs and the cats and seeing the transition from just being abandoned and neglected to being the perfect family dog is just heartwarming. You know, we have an amazing staff that just care for the animals there. Our community is amazing with our donors, our volunteers. Our community is just amazing, and I just want to thank you all, Mayor and City Council, for all you do. You know, we could not do this without our community members, and so thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, Mrs. Aragon and Mr. Slack. I take it that you're not offering as many slobbery kisses from you. Those were from dogs, right?
Yeah.
Just wanted to be clear.
I did, sorry, Your Honor, I did not clarify that at the beginning.
I just wanted to be, your wife's not here tonight, but I mean, yeah, I just wanted to clarify. Any questions regarding PAWS?
I do, as usual, sorry. You guys submitted an exorbitant amount of information, which is appreciated, thank you. In looking at that, it's hard to break it down, however, though, because everything seems to be estimated. And so actual numbers helps make some decisions. And when I was looking at some of it, like estimated vet care, for instance, is at $250 per dog.
That's for spay, neuter, vaccinations, and microchip.
Okay, but it's estimated, and I guess my question would be, of the animals that are brought in by the city of Riverton, what is the vet bills associated with that? An actual cost?
The $250 would be per animal that we take in, right? So the estimated comes from that, is that if we have heartworms, we have distemper, we have a dog or a cat that's been hit by a car, then all of a sudden our bills skyrocket.
Right, but not every animal is at $250. And so you can't average every animal at $250 to come up with that cost.
Every animal is $250 to get.
That's the minimum.
So every animal that the city of Riverton comes in and brings in, you spend $250 per animal.
Yep.
I would like to see that bill, because I didn't see that anywhere.
I did attach our vet bill to the email, but I can email it to you as well.
Okay. The other thing that I had a question about, with the food, and please don't get me wrong, I support PAWS. You guys are needed. The city of Riverton needs a place to take these animals. You guys are wonderful. I've been down there. I've looked. I agree. You do need pads and cement and stuff like that. Of the list that you gave us, there are and I don't know if they're still there because I wasn't quite sure how to reach your charting. Can you How many animals have been in foster care for over a year?
I don't know if I have that number right off the top of my head. We've got a number of them.
There's a number, and I guess my question is at what point do we stop paying for somebody to own a pet? Because that's what we're doing. If we're not actively looking to find them homes, we can't pay for their food for years and years and years
Right.
to
That's when
come.
we become a kill shelter.
Or transfer them out, or another shelter. or
We transfer quite a
I can't tell you how to run it. I'm just saying, when I look at the numbers, these are ways that I see that we can save money. And whereas the city's gonna be, we're gonna be in a pinch
and a lot
for
of-
expenditures, we have
A lot of the
to,
fosters will buy their food. We're
Mhm.
still on the hook for their vet care.
it's included in your numbers. And so if the fosters are paying for if the fosters are paying for the food, then we need to exclude that from the numbers that we were provided. So I'm just trying to find the balance of what is actually being incurred by the city bringing you animals. How much is it costing you for food on an average? That one we could probably average, but how much did we actually spend on vet bills?
Vet bills, I have that.
And I think specifically what we're looking at, or what Councilwoman Johnson is looking at, is for animals that have been brought in. And I have your, which, by the way, I appreciate the vet bills that you had sent. But I guess particularly wanting to understand the animals that had been brought in through the city and trying to be able to sort those out.
Yes, I can do that and get it to you. But
Perfect.
yeah, for 2024, currently, our vet bill is $43,082.03. I have 2025's, up until March 5th, is $6,525.52. Last year, we spent on vet bills, $34,000. So when it says foster program on that one report, I'm not 100% sure on this. Whitney made this report, but we do the foster to adopt program. So when somebody wants to adopt, they foster for 7 days and then decide. So that would be my understanding. That is what the foster program is, but I'm not sure because with Whitney.
And that was my question. I wasn't sure either, because there's 20 dogs that's been, if we're looking at the same report that we were given, in 6 months or more, they've been in foster homes. 20 foster animals for more than 100 days, 14 foster animals for less than 100 days, 44 with an unknown outcome, 3 in foster care for over a year, and multiple foster unknown for over 200 days. So
that would be their current, as she made this report, their current stage.
that's derived from the report that was
So
provided.
the days in the shelter, like I'm looking at on the last page, Whoopty, she is currently in foster program. She was in the shelter for 90 days and now in the foster program. So the days that she's in foster, whether to be foster to adopt or just foster, is not included in those 90 days.
So are you paying for food while they're in foster care or once they leave?
It's usually the foster parent or foster home provides the food. We give them a bag, like a baggie, but
We have to keep their diet somewhat maintained. They're traumatized. They have their food. They're going to a new home. If it got switched too fast, then we're gonna have a sick critter. And then probably return back to us because they would not know what's going on. Or another trip to the vet.
Okay. Thank you.
I guess what would be helpful is, if you can.
Yeah.
Get us the report regarding the vet bills specifically for ones that were brought in through the city.
Just the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so we can look at it.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that'd be helpful to be able to know. Because you do have a lot of You do have a lot of animals, of course, that people surrender. You also have animals that come in through the region as well. So,
So last fiscal year, which would be April 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2025, we took in a total of 479 animals. Of those, that's the 357 were city.
okay. All right, Councilwoman Borders?
This might not be the appropriate time to bring this up, but as you know, I serve as the liaison from the council to PAWS. And there have been instances where the city takes animals that are injured directly to the vet, unbeknownst to PAWS, and PAWS incurs all of those expenses. Do you have a number of that?
No, I have to get with our vet.
So I think that would be really important to.
That is the case. Would like you guys to understand that we are going to have to start, we have to enter an MOU with the vet. Because when they loop around or somebody says, yeah, I found this dog laying in the street, and because they can't find the owner, apparently it belongs to us. And that may not necessarily be the case.
So has that been something that PAWS has been paying?
Yes.
Yes,
When you're getting a bill from the vet for somebody that you've never seen, the first time you see them is after they've received services, you've been paying those.
Yeah, we became aware of it with a little kitty, Rip, was found with 3 broken legs, took him straight to stock dog, as it should have been, but we didn't find out about it until it was already sent to 10 Sleep for extensive surgery on its legs. Never came to PAWS, never was impounded with us, got adopted from stock dog, so.
So them are
PAWS
areas.
incurs all of those costs.
How much
Them are
was
some,
that?
what's that?
How much was that?
That was 6,000 and some. We still owe 4,000 and some from that, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. And that's,
interesting.
that is, it's hard. You don't want to turn away animals. We've moved to any critters being euthanized will have to be authorized through the PAWS board now. So now we make these decisions unless it's just a point of, it has to be taken care of.
I'd have,
I guess just, when these animals have received treatment that has been prior to them being brought to you, have they been brought to you afterwards?
No, not always.
Not always, but we should have, we should have an intake report from animal control that'll come back. So the animal doesn't necessarily need to be drug out of the vet, show up to us, and then go back to the vet. It would be, it's just the way that the Riverton, through PAWS, we're tracking the numbers.
Okay.
Did I answer your?
It might be a good idea to talk about that more offline, just to clarify.
well, my question would be, I mean, if it was brought in by somebody and it suddenly becomes the responsibility of PAWS if the animal's injured or whatever, what happens if you just refuse? If you didn't give authorization to do the surgery and the surgery's done, why should you incur the charge?
Because we never knew about it.
Yeah, we didn't know.
I know, but if you didn't agree to incur that charge,
So that's why we need to
think you're
sit down and
better
go through
offline.
animal by animal on the vet bill, which takes some time, and sit with the vet and see which ones, because if they were brought in by ACO or a officer, then it's a city animal. Even though we don't know about it, it's still a city animal because it was brought in by the city. So that's why it gets attached to our bill.
Your Honor.
Yes, Councilman
I
Bailey.
guess one of the things we need to all remember is that if PAWS was not there, a lot of this would be the city's responsibility to take care of. So I think we just need to keep that in mind. And unfortunately, with these situations, we have to do estimates, which you don't know how many animals you're going to have next year. Could be 250, could be 500. So we have to just make some reasonable guesses on what that's going to be. And I guess, to me, I think, again, offline, I think we need to have some conversations on how this process is working and make sure everybody's aware of what's going on and how it's being handled and where the expenses are. And we've got to make wise decisions with all of our financial dealings with the city, as do the rest of you, so.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
We're tightening it up, and as you know, anytime that you're moving with a business or moving, you run across problems you didn't know were there. They just slipped in somehow. So, I mean, it's hard. I mean, we're dealing with critters.
Right.
You know, the other thing that can become very interesting on our part is owner surrenders. Okay, here's where the owner surrender things I would ask you guys to be cautious with on them numbers. It does not mean that I just don't like my dog, take my dog. We have people that find animals, they could be injured, and they want us to take them. If we're full, we can't take a owner surrender. But a lot of people will pay the surrender fee just for us to take the animal. Because if not, they're just going to lay it out there on the road. Our other fear is if we tell you were going to have to pay for you to take your dog, we know animal control will have it within the next several days because they're going to just turn them loose in town.
Yep.
So it does become hard. I mean, you know, we have specific numbers that we can house. Shouldn't go over that, but I tell you, we're only one hoarding situation away from a complete disaster.
Gotcha. Well, thank you both for reporting. Could have some more discussion about this as we go forward. Definitely appreciate you trying to be very transparent, letting us know everything going on at PAWS. Appreciate your hard work. Thank you very much for caring about our animals in the community and taking good care of them.
Thank you. Appreciate everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know that Juvenile Justice Services of Fremont County wants to come up here, but could we take a quick break?
Yeah.
Does that work?
Sorry, Eddie.
Let's take a
If we do this again, we're youth services, though.
That's right.
next year, put it in that way. So we're going to take a recess until 8:15. Declare now to be 8:15, but it's 8:17 according to everybody else. So we'll say we're back in session at 8:17, and we'll hear from Youth Services.
Thanks, Your Honor, especially considering we were youth services until we decided to go appropriate and say that we're actually Juvenile Justice Services, our official title. So I'm Casey Murray, Director for Juvenile Justice Services, also known as Youth Services for Fremont County.
I'm Hattie Calvert. I'm the Assistant Director for Youth Services.
So one of the things really my presentation is just reminding you who we are and what we do. Just because I think it gets lost, we kind of expect that everybody knows what it is that we do, but that isn't always the case. So Juvenile Justice Services, AKA Youth Services, and the City of Riverton have had a partnership since about 1995. Throughout that time, the City of Riverton has allocated funding to help support our program. The thing that's kind of the important piece is we are the probation agency for juveniles for the City of Riverton. So any citations that are written in the City of Riverton, we're the ones that get those individuals if they don't process out into the DFS system. So kind of the way that the process works just generally, anytime that a citation is written by a law enforcement agency, that citation is routed through us and then onto our single point of entry committee. And at that committee is the county attorney's office, the SROs, the school districts, DFS offices, and we do an intake prior to that, or that's the hope. And every single case, we then staff at that meeting and kind of decide, is this appropriate for a diversion, which is what youth services is? Or does this need a process either through DFS, through another, either the judicial or the juvenile court, or does it need another process such as a CHINS petition? Or is this a case that potentially is gonna go adult? And so all of those decisions are kind of made at that table. That happens every single week that we have those meetings. Once that decision happens, the case then follows the process of whichever place it's going to. Almost every single case is diverted from the municipal court to the circuit court, which comes to us, where it's handled as a diversion case. Kind of the ones that aren't, tobacco citations, Judge McKee does take care of those. Occasionally, if she has somebody in her court a number of times that they don't want to listen to not vaping and they're a minor, we will get them. The juvenile court is available for cases where we don't have either the resources or the needs of the juvenile is so much more that we can't actually service them safely. And then once a case is placed with us, the probation officer begins the case. We start connecting with the schools, the family. We start trying to figure out what is the least restrictive, is what we call it, amount of services that we can provide to that juvenile and that family. So is that, helping connect them to counseling, other resources, maybe they need food stamps, or maybe they need food. So we kind of start that. We also get them enrolled in usually some sort of a course, so maybe something on shoplifting, marijuana use. They do something called MRT, which is basically looking at criminal thinking patterns and trying to readjust those. They do community service. If they've got a substance-related citation, they will get UA'd by our probation. If that happens and that continues to happen, then they also then can get a referral for substance abuse treatment. If things aren't going well, we also have the option of using home confinement through a GPS monitor to have them placed somewhere so we kind of know their location and hopefully can keep them from continuing to get into trouble. About 80 to 95% of all citations are supervised by us, and only minimal cases actually go through the municipal court. So I think it's just important to kind of think about that because sometimes that piece gets lost. So I'll let Hattie talk some more.
So, youth services or juvenile justice services is comprised of myself, and we have one other probation officer in Riverton. We do have a probation officer in Lander, and then we have our direct services provider for our day reporting center is also part of our staff. So within that, we conduct home visits, school visits, we do urinalysis testing, and provide that diversion level supervision. Like Casey said, we do have like anger management, MRT, those kinds of catches that we can help provide families. At the intake, we do have families kind of identify needs of juvenile, what they kind of see, and that can range from, I'm really worried about substance use, to I just kind of need some help getting them through the semester. When Riverton High School class of 2024, 10% of those individuals were involved with youth services at some level at some time. And then we graduated about 2/3 of the Frontier most recent class. So, that's a really big push for us. We want our kids to be healthy, functioning members of our community. A lot of our kids will stay here. So wanting them to get them that high school diploma equivalency is a big thing for us, which leads into our day reporting center. So our day reporting center is for court-involved juveniles who are also in trouble at school in some fashion, whether that is huge attendance gaps that could be extend to grade level gaps. They are facing expulsion on a stipulated agreement. They could be coming back and transition from the Wyoming Boys School, the Wyoming Girls School, residential treatment facilities around the state or out of state. They come to our building and they work on their school requirements on a program called Ingenuity. That is comprised of 12 students. We always fill up. So that services anywhere from 24 to 35, 40 juveniles every every school year. That's a really important program for us. Really helps our kids who would not be in school remain somewhere in earning those graduations. Also, part of the services that are really important is when they come through us, they keep that adult criminal record clean, and that's really important for, like I said, our people who are going to stay in our communities, for them to be applying for gainful employment and all those things. In order to obtain those, it's super important for them to have a clean criminal record when they're entering the workforce. So that's one thing that we find very important is to, keep our juveniles without a criminal record. So in the fiscal year, we had 219 citations that came to us from July of 23 through June of 24. Significant number of those, 41% of those were alcohol citations. That is a big problem for us. We do see significant BACs, blood alcohol contents in a lot of our MUIs, most of them the 0.16 and above, which is a huge concern for us. We've, trying really hard to help combat some of that excessive drinking that rises far above normal high school partying. 19% of those were substance abuse citations. Most of those marijuana. We do get the occasional methamphetamine, but I would say 99% of that is marijuana. So far this year, we are at 108 citations from Riverton.
Okay, so 108 citations, that's 108 people that you are supervising from, now that might not be the case because they will go through the single point of entry and they might decide, well, we're going to actually take this as an adult.
Correct. Yeah, so the 108, those are just citations issued, processed through youth services, not necessarily supervised through youth services.
How many are, I guess, currently being supervised by youth services in Riverton and
In our Riverton and Lander.
Well, just saying Riverton and Lander both.
So combined with our 3 offices, I think right now, our Lander offices, we had a little bit of a slow period in Lander recently, so I think she's right at 30. Jarrett and I usually run between 35 and 50, depending on kind of how things are shaking out. So all of those terms are, so first-time offenders usually are on a 3-month pre-court. They kind of graduate, so we could have kids at different levels at different times, whether they could be on a 3-month pre-court, 6-month pre-court, even up to a year on those pre-courts.
So you've got currently 35 to 50 that are being split between the two of you?
No, those are individual caseloads each.
Oh.
That would be.
So 75 to 100.
So you've got, but right now, today, about 70?
Yeah,
You're supervising?
I would say probably closer to 75 to 80 currently in Riverton.
Okay. At different levels, in terms of completion, some of those
Correct.
that you're going to be saying, hey, they're done, dismiss it tomorrow. Some of those that are just coming in.
Correct.
How long is your typical period of supervision?
6 months usually.
And what kind of services are you providing generally while they're being supervised? Do you do home visits?
Correct.
Do you do regular meetings once a month at least?
Yes. So our first-time offenders usually about every 3 weeks. Most of those are seen in office with family. We do see a ton of kids at school, as well as home visits. So we do a variety of supervision based on each kind of juvenile and where their needs kind of fit. If they're having a lot of problems at home, we tend to be in the home a lot more. If school's a really big issue, our presence at the school is always effective. If everything's going really well, an office visit with ourselves or mom is usually how those go.
Okay. Any questions?
Of course. I just had one quick one, and it's just more clarification. Is your primary funding source through the county?
Yes.
Is that correct? And we've looked at a ton of numbers and stuff, but are you guys going to be funded by the county this year, or are you part of the non-funding that they announced?
No, we will be funded. We're county employees.
Okay.
And then,
I
well,
just
they haven't
wasn't
told
sure
us
on that.
we're not gonna have jobs, so.
Thank goodness. I think
far
your
as we
guys'
know.
services are really needed, but I just wasn't sure if that was part of the county's no contract for service, how that worked with that. So, thank you.
Anything else?
No, I just want to make sure that if you guys have any questions, reach out to us. We're always willing to come and talk to you about kind of what we're doing, what it looks like, and just the significant concerns. I will always plug it. There is a substance abuse problem within this community. It's not just adults, it's also the juveniles, and if we don't do anything, our community is going to be destroyed, so.
And we're always looking for community service partnerships. So if anybody has any community service partnerships or ideas.
There's some hands that were raised over there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always happy to help in any way. We've got kids with, everybody has community service hours.
Great. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate your hard work. IPR. By the way, I would note you were here late too, Noel.
In the lobby, don't check the cameras.
You weren't that late. You came in while the youth council was still presenting.
Maybe right on.
I just had to guilt you a little bit because I can. I don't know.
I appreciate that. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and present. Thank you to the council last year for funding a portion of IPR and what we do. My name is Noel Cooper, Executive Director of Injury Prevention Resources. Good to see all of you here, some reoccurring faces and some new ones. So I'd always be remiss not to plug the biggest part that matters to me here, and that is our roadway safety behavior. So we're a 501c3. We're dedicated to saving lives on roads, and I think we found a lot of different interesting and unique ways of being able to put our message out there. Almost everything we work on is dependent upon the same thing. It's please wear a seatbelt, don't drive distracted, don't drive impaired, and pay attention when you're in the crosswalks as a pedestrian, and put little babies in car seats, which is more confusing than a lot of people think. Ms. Borders knows very well. So yeah, I won't take up a lot of time. That's our main goal. Again, really grateful to be here. I know that it's been very God willing that we've been able to get funding through these years. I hope it continues. And we're really excited to keep our current method of getting the word out there about seatbelts and impaired driving, while also being able to support and advertise through youth sports, National Night Out, hopefully again, all the way into Fremont County School District. I know last year we were roughly 20,000 that we were able to put out there to advertise and get our message through the schools. School district's been amazing too. They've taken on doing announcements and putting posters up, getting those crashed cars that you guys see everywhere. And thank you to Councilman Bailey for letting us just dump it there when we have nowhere else to put it. You can't see it if it's in a YDOT cage. So we're just grateful for what we get to do. We're really trying to drive forward and do roughly 30,000 this year that we're getting back into our sports, and even some of it was set aside for drama club and speech and debate. So we're trying to diversify and go to the places we can reach more than 250, 300 people, and remind them that, hey, that's the most dangerous thing we do in a day for most of us is hop in a vehicle. And so if you wouldn't go down to the carnival and ride the carnival rides without being strapped in, then please don't hop in a vehicle without being buckled, and making sure that everyone's buckled, because it is devastating as very evident. But just another big plug was the DUI task force, the Fremont County DUI task force. I know last year we cut fatalities in half for impaired fatalities on our roads. So we keep working forward. Thankfully, Safe Ride, what they've been able to do in WRTA, too many people to thank. I'm not winning an Oscar, I know. I'm just telling you.
Should I start playing music?
Yeah, is the music playing me off? It's 1% of our budget. I think my last big push is please consider, no matter what amount funding that you can give us, it goes a very long way with showing the city's involvement to our grantors down at the Highway Safety Office and through YDOT. So regardless of amount, just please consider, continuing to help us out.
And you are largely grant-funded. I mean, the vast majority of what you've got, 445,000, and of that, you've got a little bit less than 400 that's grant-funded.
Yes, so we're holding our breath as well, but I should have passed out my resume just in case, I guess. But
Some of the changes that were announced with some of the grants, and I know that that actually affected youth services too, because you had a federal grant that just this year has been put on a hold, and you're not sure if that's going to be paid at all. Have none of that, no word in terms of any issues with you?
no, hopefully we just don't have any, knock on wood.
Right.
We're Wyoming, we're the smallest state, just leave us alone and help us save lives. That's my message. Yeah,
And
President's watching.
Leave us alone.
okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Cooper. Anybody else? Questions, comments, or anything?
Your Honor, I just want to say thank you. I do have a very good knowledge of IPR and what they do, and
Considering you worked there.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
They've made a significant difference in making our roads safer.
Good. Thank you.
And car seats are hard.
Oh, they
are.
are. They are.
I'm not
Well-
gonna lie,
Yeah.
they are.
And you do car seat checks, you do the bike rodeos where people can get a helmet, which is great.
Yep.
Learn some about bike safety, that sort of thing. Of course, you do the DUI supervision, that sort of thing, so appreciate all you do in the community.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great place to live. I appreciate all you.
Take care. All right, next up, Foundations for Nations.
Good evening, everyone. We just want to say thank you for having us here. I'm Aubrey Meadow, and Sonia, sorry, you can talk.
She said she didn't want to talk up here, so.
We're the directors at the Foundations for Nations Food Pantry, and we just wanted to come and give you a little bit of stats. The biggest difference that I have stats for is the backpack program that we implemented in February of this year. And of those, so we've packed since February 1st. So this is a weekend backpack program. We send food home every weekend in the schools. So we've packed since February 1st up to last week, 681 bags. And over spring break, we did 151 food boxes, which fed kids for 7 days. So we have taken on quite a bit more. And then also from total served through the pantry, from January to March, we've fed 2,083 kids. So we are very eager to feed people. We're also very eager to network with people. That's why we raised our hands. We have volunteer opportunities through the pantry that we do have people come serve their community service hours. And we do often see a transition from the time they show up to the time they're done with their hours. If they fully serve, their 10 hours is usually what they are. But that they, I don't know, serving people has an effect on everyone, and you can see that transition where they might come in and they're shy and they don't want to get involved, to where they're hugging people, they hug us, and so it's just neat to see. And we do have kids that come in to volunteer. Yeah, absolutely. Also, the last part of what I wrote on how the Foundations for Nations Food Pantry benefits Riverton, and I believe this goes beyond just networking with food, but I said we believe solving the food insecurities problem in Riverton takes everyone working together to help those in need and strive to network to accomplish this task. So networking with other entities in sharing food, receiving food, doing community service. One theme I heard here tonight was the youth, trying to get them involved. We would love to have volunteers come down. We have clothing, we're having a clothes giveaway on Thursday, just different ideas for everyone, not just youth to get involved. But what I see is everyone trying to network together to make this community great. And that's kind of our goal too, is to just boost the support and make Riverton awesome. Not that, but make it better, I should say. So also I want to say, We fed almost 10,000 people in 2024, which I was thinking about this when I was growing up, and I did graduate from Riverton. It was 10,000 people was Riverton. I know it's a little bit higher, but that's basically all of Riverton that we fed last year through our pantry doors, and that was before the backpack program. So there's a huge need for in our community, and most of these people, 54%, and this is before backpacks numbers, is children and senior citizens. It's not adults. And so there's a huge need for the outliers, the people who can't provide for themselves or don't have the means to. So we're just asking for the funding to continue to grow. Obviously, everyone's feeling the hurt right now, and we're just hoping that you'll partner with us to help feed people.
And come volunteer.
Yeah.
We don't just give them a bag of food and send
No.
them out the door. We shop with them, we get to know them, we
Yeah.
play with their kids, we have a good time, we love on them. We want them to know that people care about them. We have children that come up to the door
Yeah, we had,
and they're hungry.
yeah,
And it's hard.
yeah. We want people to know that there's
That's
not.
why I'm not talking. I love them so much. I love them.
Genetically weak tear ducts, I am.
Yes, my sprinkler system works well. So, but we love what we do. We work
Yes.
very hard. And
We want people to know that there's no shame, because oftentimes it's the mom who all of a sudden has to provide for her family because her husband got hurt and now she's the sole breadwinner. Or it's the senior citizens that, utilities gone up, rent's gone up, insurance went up, everything's elevated and they don't have the support. So, it's all of us. It's all our people. It's our moms, our dads, our aunts, uncles, children.
farmers, ranchers,
Yeah.
teachers.
Everyone.
It's everyone.
So please come join us at some point
have
in
a great
time. You will laugh a lot, probably at us. Anyways, does anybody have any questions?
If someone were to assist and wanted to volunteer, when would be the best time of day or week or whatever to do that?
We are open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m. at 702 East Monroe, which is right next to FedEx, and you can do that. However, this Thursday, we have so we're connected to Foundations for Nations Church, and there's a lot of missions teams that come in, and there's actually a mission team coming in Thursday. And other than that, so there is some times when volunteering's not available, but typically, or you can go, we have a Facebook page, it's Foundations for Nations Food Pantry, it's a very creative name, I know. Or you can email us, I think Mia has our email address, so, yeah.
We even had St. Margaret's kids come in. We prefer not to have age because.
14 and younger.
Yeah, 14 and younger. So what we do is
We prefer not to have younger kids because of some of the clientele, and they're in certain places in
ADHD.
life where our children might not be safe, so we try to find volunteer opportunities for the younger kids.
So we have produce that we get once a month, and so it's usually just one pallet, so we'll have the kids come in and they help us unbox the pallet and put them in the refrigerator and, set things on the shelves. They get so excited and they're high-fiving, they want a bag of limes.
They wanted to steal the limes. We were like, we'll give you the limes, you don't have to steal.
Yeah,
But,
they had a great time.
yeah, just
So-
trying to network.
2 to 6, Tuesday through Thursday?
4 to 6.
4 to 6, sorry. Okay. Any questions?
Yes, I wanted to find out about the clothing giveaway on
Yeah.
Thursday. What time is that?
It's
And
at 4 to 6 on Thursday also.
4 to 6, and then if people have things to give away, when can they bring those?
During pantry hours.
We're usually there
Okay.
around 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
2 to 6:30, but we're open 4 to 6.
Okay.
So just come on down.
Yeah.
You're the next contestant. Sorry, we're tired too.
We just had pantry hours today too, so.
The funding you're requesting, what would it specifically go to?
Food. So we want to do half, 10,000 for pantry, 10,000 for backpacks. The backpacks right now have gone up. When we first started, they were about $4 a bag. They're about $5 a bag now. And so we will pause that, however, not in school sessions. So summertime, we're not doing backpacks. And so it will be through May, and then we'll pick that up again in September. So hopefully that funding will get us through mostly the end of the year. Because
No, if people wanted to donate food from the community,
Yes.
what kind of food would you be looking for in particular?
So that's a great question. The backpack bags are very specific. We don't actually hand out backpacks because of the receiving them back and then the cleanliness. We're not sure there's a big issue there. So we send plastic bags home. We send home canned Pop Tops. So we are assuming that a 5-year-old who has no means of getting into this can eat. So it has to be Pop Tops, easily accessible food. So we send home usually canned ravioli and like spaghetti, yeah, that's the same, cup of or the ramen, but the cups, so if they don't have a microwave, they can at least pour the water in and let it sit and, get the noodles soft. And then we do two breakfasts, so cereals, we buy our food through the Food Bank of Wyoming, and that's cheapest for the cereals, the little cups of cereals. And so they either get 2 of those or 2 oatmeals. We send a milk or a juice, and then 2 snacks. So we'd like to send more food home, but we need more money. So, yeah.
Almost $500 a week.
Yeah, we went from, before spring break, it was 110 bags, then we sent 151 boxes home, and then last week we sent 147 bags home. So times that by 5, that's how much money we're spending. It's a lot. But, yeah,
We're
so.
hoping that we have relieved the burden off of the schools to have to come up with all this. We can be the hub. We're happy to do that. We're happy to get it distributed. We're happy to put it together. We just need some help.
Yeah, and the schools have been great.
Yes, they've
They
been
have been
awesome.
wonderful, so, yeah.
Great. Anything else?
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Ladies
you
for
very
being
much
here.
for your time.
Appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around. All right.
All right, everyone, please don't be intimidated by these. This is just extra information. We're not going to go through all this.
Is there a quiz?
Good to know.
I know, I've been holding on to these. I'm like, no, just extra info.
And you've got some members of your board here?
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
We had a couple have to,
You accept members that young for the board?
yeah.
She's our mascot.
Been to all of them.
My name's Devin Anderson. I have recently taken over the director position at Eagles Hope. I have been an employee there for 4.5 years, and prior to that, I went through the Eagles Hope program. This is my wife, Shannon. Kind of the same story. Employee for 4.5 years, and we came through the program together, and this is our daughter, Cody.
I'm Scott Morrow. I'm on the board. They needed somebody tall.
Makes sense.
I'm Michaela Dally. I'm the secretary on the board.
And Janet Nyberg was here. She's our board treasurer, but chair, yeah. But she went home. So Eagles Hope is a small nonprofit currently operating with 2 full-time employees, 6 board members. We have various volunteers. What we do is we help Fremont County residents become functioning, sober members of our community. Our residents come from various backgrounds and ethnicities. We also offer emergency services to the homeless, and when funding is appropriate, homeless prevention, and that's help with utilities, rent, stuff like that to help people stay inside their homes and stay warm and all that. Our emergency services, that's a 30 to 60-day program. That's rent-free, and a lot of people come to us and they don't have a job yet and they can't pay rent, but they need somewhere to live. During this time, residents are expected to find a job or get their source of income in order. Right now we have people that they're trying to get their Social Security figured out. We have some elderly folks, so, and disability and stuff like that. So we help them get that process started. Where is my, and then after the 30 to 60 days are up, they are moved into our transitional program. Transitional housing is up to a 2-year program, and that's when there's a small rental fee. And that, what they pay for rent, it ranges from $300 to $600 depending on the room size. But that covers their utilities. We have a food pantry, washer, dryer, clothing. So hygiene items, toilet paper. So we encourage them to cover their own toilet paper and all that, but if they don't, we have it. We have noticed that just due to the cost of housing, some landlords have restrictions that make it hard for our residents to, to rent from them. We've had a few residents that have had to stay a little bit longer than 2 years. We've noticed that's starting to happen. Our people come from the streets, treatment, probation, parole. People have lost their housing. They just need somewhere temporary until they figure it out. We work with court-assisted supervised treatment, that's the CAST program, as well as we work with various churches helping people that they may refer. We also work closely with Project Independence, which is the old CSBG. We've been working with Jamie and Doug over there. Northern Arapaho Reentry Agency, they deal with a lot of people coming from prisons and stuff, so we help their people with housing. We get people from the VOA, the One Stop Help Center, and our local law enforcement. We also work with DFS to help families reunite, and others. We're always open to other partnerships. So anyone curious about what we do or just kind of want to see what we got going on, anyone's always more than welcome to come up and come talk to us. Programming and services we offer includes Bible study. Shannon and I have started doing a support group that with our residents on Wednesday nights. Tuesdays we do a lunch together. We have a couple outside volunteers that come in and prepare a meal, and we all sit and eat together. We have 24-hour advice and support through phone. Our residents have Shannon and I's cell phone number. We do one-on-one meetings once a month, help with job search, obtaining various documents, birth certificates, social security cards, that sort of thing. Financial guidance. Currently we are looking for a professional, a professional who would like to come in and show the ropes. I consider myself, I do a lot better financially than I used to, so I give the best advice I can. We offer access to a full kitchen and a laundry room, a food pantry, clothing pantry, and we get most of that through community donations. Various churches, we have about 3 or 4 churches that do a monthly meal. So throughout the month, about once a week, we have a dinner sponsored by one of the churches. We have also purchased a van to help our people get to appointments or work or, where they need to go. Right now, Eagles Hope has 17 livable rooms. It used to be 16, but we are currently receiving ARPA money through DFS, and we have been able to renovate a previously unusable room, and we now have 17.
How many of those have residents in them right now?
Well, unfortunately, yesterday, we had an incident involving a few residents, and they had to leave. So we have 6 rooms being occupied. We have 5 under construction.
So when you say you have 17 livable rooms right now,
Mhm.
is that including the 5 under construction, or would you be at 22?
That is the ones under construction. When we're all done with construction, we're hoping to be to 20 to 21 rooms.
Okay.
You
How many
guys,
people did you lose yesterday?
I lost 3. I've lost, and this is for good and bad reasons, but in the last month, 8 people have left us. Some of them have got their own place, and then the 3 I had to kick out. So that was kind of a bummer.
Right.
So yeah, the ARPA money is through DFS, and we receive 62,500 quarterly over the next 2 years. This grant is for us to expand our capacity and infrastructure. What we have planned for it this whole year is nothing but remodel. You know, getting things good. We're upgrading our heating and cooling system to be more efficient ones. Right now, we're on baseboards, and I call them glorified space heaters, but they're like space heaters that are in the wall, and those are not efficient. We're replacing sewer lines, and we have a lot more plans in the future. The two dirt floor rooms everyone has heard a lot about. By the end of this summer, that will be livable rooms. And what they are is they've been stripped down to the log walls. There's no floor, it's just dirt and rafters. So we're remodeling those and making those into livable rooms.
Great.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Do you have partnership with CAST? I know you've received some funding in the past through the county.
Mhm.
Are they not going to be funding this year? Same kind of question as Councilwoman Johnson. Would that be?
We haven't heard when to even apply or
Yeah.
anything.
Well, it was my understanding, and this was what was alluded to by Councilwoman Johnson, the county had said they're not going to be doing their, not contracts for services, but their,
Service agreements or whatever.
Okay. As of right now, we haven't heard anything about it. We haven't applied. We haven't planned on any money from them yet.
are you going to be able to spend the ARPA money before the deadline for that? Which, what, is that October? Year.
For us, it's 2026. We have to have it spent December 2026, or 27. 2026.
You got some good people helping you.
We get 2 years.
Wife's keeping an eye on you.
And-
Cody's keeping an eye on you.
Majority of that is capital construction.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's great. I mean,
Absolutely.
it makes it so you've got more ability to provide services with, increased capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like the ask is 35,000, and is that purely for utilities as well as insurance again? Is that where we're at?
I believe 53 is what we have.
Transposed.
I sometimes transpose numbers.
Look at that again.
Yes, not trying to reinvent the wheel or anything. I've gone off of what we've done in the past. And we really appreciate the help we do get from you guys. It goes a long way for us. So, yeah, it's for utilities and building insurance.
Because I think was last year the first time we had provided funding for building insurance with some of this kind of quick need for cash that there was at the beginning of the year last year. Well, anyways. Councilwoman Johnson, you had a question.
Yeah, and it's along the same lines. Looking at, it says some of our statistics in 2024, successful transition, 61%, tribal, 60%. Are you going to be seeking or are you receiving funding from any tribal entities?
No, we don't. We have, from my understanding, it has been tried in the past, and I don't know why it fizzled out or why it didn't happen. I don't know. But yeah, we have tried in the past, but we don't receive any tribal money.
Are you going to try again this year?
I would like to, yes.
Thank you. And
I think it would be, we do serve a lot of, that's our main people, that's our main population, so.
And good job to you for being being where you're at today.
Thank you.
I'd like to add, and you may have said this and I wasn't paying attention. Imagine that. But we're a clean, sober institution. And when he talked about losing some people, they drug test and test for alcohol and that kind of stuff. And if they fail, then we need to send them on their way, unfortunately. Sometimes we try and help them find family or somebody that they can go to, but we can't allow them in our facility because we do have some clients that are addicts, and they just can't be living next door to somebody else. There's just too much of a temptation for them to fall off too, so.
Inactive addiction, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the reason that happens. We were talking a second ago, we had a young man that, I really liked this guy, and he was exuberant, he was energy, he was fun, he was 3 years sober, and then, this weekend or a few days ago, he fell off, and so we had to have him leave. And it's just, that's the way this disability goes. I mean, some people go years.
Right?
And
It's hard.
it sneaks up and there's a change in life or whatever. And it happens. So those are some of the things that, we've got great people working here. Thank God I don't have to be there day after day and answer the phone like they do. These Shannon and Devin are saints. They know those people and they have good communication with them, and they love them. And it's a tough job for them to have. It's a really specific job for what we offer.
I know that with the loss of the CSBG grant, that was difficult recently. You've been able to recover from that, it sounds like, been able to get fundraising and that sort of thing. And then have been partnering with Project Independence. Do you have any clients in common with them right now, or?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. I think we've had, this year, this will be our first one, but right at the end of last year, we had quite a few people that we were sharing with them, I guess.
Great. Good. Sorry, I've just been asking a ton of questions.
Ask all you want.
Any other questions? or-
They're all good questions, that's why I don't ask any.
Well, and some of it I know. I'm just saying for the purpose of people that are here, for the viewing public, of which I'm sure we have so many people online right now watching.
It looks like we've been having a yard sale, but we're actually getting all the floors redone. Because we had 70 shag carpet in there. That was
Wow, nice.
Wow.
Yellow.
Feeling it.
Great.
And we found, in one of the rooms underneath the flooring, we found the original flooring to the log cabins those used to be, so, yeah.
Great. You using that now, or did you put something else in?
We went with something a little more modern.
A lot of duct tape.
Yeah.
Maybe you could theme the rooms and bring the 70s back in a couple of them.
They were terrible. They kept
The disco ball.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
So we've gone with, it's a lot like, you know that flooring that's in Ace Hardware, that gray, yeah. We've got, it's.
Very industrial.
It's not quite that industrial, but I mean, we went with it's about the same color and it's real durable and, yeah.
Clean.
Hopefully it'll take a bit of a beating better than carpet does.
Yeah.
Right, well, then we have all your numbers here.
Awesome.
Appreciate you telling us about your mission. Appreciate you providing the funding and letting us know an update on where things are at. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. And like I said, if anyone ever wants to just come up and visit, they're always more than welcome.
I accidentally walked in on a board meeting once, and I will try to avoid doing that in the future.
They had one before we came here.
Good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Choate, she knows the drill. Katz, I am really sorry. I know you usually get to.
They go first, yeah.
She was so ready.
They're being so patient.
All right, sorry about that.
See you later, Andersons.
Thanks so much for having me here tonight. I really appreciate just being in this room with all of these amazing organizations. So my name is Shanna Choate. I am the owner and operator of Good Portions. It's a mobile soup kitchen. We have been serving the community for 4 years. We've had the food trailer for almost 2. We serve under a nonprofit that is called Cup of Cold Water Ministries. It's located in Illinois. We are missionaries under that organization, but we do not, we strictly fundraise for the organization. We don't get personal funds as missionaries under this organization. So we provide cooked meals. A lot of families and people are in situations where packages of food don't really benefit them because they don't have a way to cook it. And we serve on the street. So Family Dollar has graciously allowed us to park in their parking lot twice a week. And so we serve on Wednesdays and on Sundays. Wednesdays we do lunch, and on Sundays we provide like breakfast items and coffee. We offer a church service for anybody who wants to attend, and then we serve lunch in the parking lot, and anyone and everyone is welcome. So we also, when the warming hut is open, we serve lunches out there on Wednesdays as well. So we go from Family Dollar to the warming hut. Also, during holidays, we try to do special meals and go out and serve those as well. So our philosophy is to build relationship with the people we serve. So we sit, we eat with them, give them space to share their stories or not, but just kind of get to understand their circumstances and why they're where they're at in life. And the majority of the people we serve struggle with alcohol and drug addiction. But we do, with the relationships we've built, we go way beyond just serving food. We're now providing just a lot of extra services over the last 2 years, helping people transition into apartments. We occasionally help with security deposits or utility bills, or help people keep their utilities on if they can't find other resources for that, or direct them to those resources. We also provide transportation when no other transportation is available for job interviews, getting to work, getting to appointments, getting to probation appointments, UAs, and the like. We also keep a food pantry and clothing and personal hygiene items on hand. Last year, we purchased a shipping container and insulated it so we could store food items. And so we're kind of an after-hours help. So when other organizations are not available to help somebody in emergency, we can run food or items that are needed to families in need. We also, there are families, for example, like we have an elderly woman who is in a wheelchair taking care of her granddaughter because the granddaughter's parents are in California in treatment, and just different situations like that. We try to be a bridge there, just an extra help for people who don't have transportation or a way to get access to other available resources. So we just, like Eagles Hope mentioned, that they can't take anyone who's not sober. So we try to be a bridge also for those people who are struggling in that. We recently had a woman who has been sober for a few months and was in a traumatic situation, and we knew that the warming hut was not a good place to put her during that time. So we paid for a hotel for her to stay in, a safe hotel. It's not all of the options are safe. So we just put her in a hotel for a few days. Sorry, I'm so nervous. So that's just kind of what we do. We just provide resources where we can, as we can. My husband works full-time for the town of Pavilion, and I have been substitute teaching just to kind of help fund extra things that we do. But now my time is so taken by this that I have not been able to sub. I've only subbed probably 6 days this year, where I was subbing at least once a week before. So it's been, I can't do both. So that's kind of where we're needing extra funds, is because of that. So I think I covered it all. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
So if we were to provide what had been requested was 13,000, you had in 2024 operations were 24,536, 19,000 was raised to cover that. Is part of the plan that 6,000 of that would go towards?
Well, that was, I don't think I was looking at that today. That was like, that's what I've typically made substitute teaching. So trying to fill that gap as well. And we actually have, since I filled out this application, we've raised another $2,500. So we're hoping that we have the opportunity to also do a couple of other fundraisers. They'll probably be small, but if we could raise another couple thousand. So that was kind of an estimate when I filled it out, but our goal is to continue fundraising. So really, any help that we get is appreciated.
What would you have this go towards, I guess, the 13,000?
It goes towards food, propane, and any of those needs that I mentioned. We rely on donations. If we don't get those or we have specific needs, then we buy those out of pocket. So, and I do have like all of our receipts. It's a lot of receipts, but I have them all if you'd want them. But just from the past couple of years to look at. So it would go to being able to continue to provide some of these emergency services, or we would just have to cut back on them, but.
Okay. Any questions?
Just thank you for everything you do.
Thanks.
Keep up the good work.
You're doing God's work.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
This is huge. This is huge.
We just, it's, just want people to still know that they're loved and that they matter, no matter what situation they're in. So, yeah.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, cats. We still have wind.
We thought we'd let them go first because they were supposed to go first.
And they always go last.
Yep.
So we will in fact be last this time.
No, I want to go last at this point.
We're gonna blame Tim. I will say, I actually think the first year that I did this, I did reverse alphabetical order too, and I think I made you
Well,
guys last.
I think that was before our time.
That might have been.
Could have been.
Click. We're going to click over there. There we go.
There we go.
All right. Well, my name is Megan Obergoss, and we also have Becky Kenyon. We're here from the Riverton Cats. That's what we're called. We're a Cats Museum, but our official name is Central Wyoming Children's Center for Art, Technology, and Science. So we put together just a little quick presentation to remind you about who we are and what we do. This is Len, the birdhouse man I was telling you about. He's wonderful. So our vision is to bring children and adults together to discover and play and learn. We want to give kids an appreciation for art, science, technology, all of the things which help us build a strong community. And we think that starts with our earliest members. A little bit of background here. We are a center for children to explore and learn and interact and do these activities in a very hands-on way. So a lot of our exhibits are sturdy, is a nice word for it, so that they can be interacted with from children of all ages. We are a nonprofit organization. We are created to support our community, our staff, and we do that through members of our community. We wouldn't be here if we didn't have support from the community and the school district and all of those people as well. We partner with parents, grandparents, family members. We worked with the Foster Grandparents Association this year, and we have Vern, he's wonderful. So we have businesses that participate and donate and help with us. We like to get out and about in the community as much as we can. There's Becky and I with the cat, So we try to get out there and do as many things as we can to get our name out there and to let people know that we're a service available for their children, and not just young children. I was talking just a little bit ago to Kyle and showing him our newest exhibits that, thanks to the rec board, we got to purchase, and my husband and I spent all of Sunday and Monday installing, but we have flight simulators. So I know that we're known for being a young children's museum, but we now have 3 flight simulators with 3 different levels of training. The next level up is like, I don't know, I don't speak Microsoft, but it's the Microsoft Flight Simulator is the next thing we want to get. So these are things that my teenage sons would want to do. My husband sat there and was like, we can stay a little bit, right? Like, I just got it together. So we are trying to be a all-age facility because, as we know from tonight, that we have such a problem with things for our teens, for our youth of all ages to do. So we try to span the gap. For the funding we're asking for tonight is $12,000. Our biggest expenses are our building rent, utilities, and payroll for staff. This year, we were able to add an additional 3rd employee. She's part-time, so we have a manager.
Well, they're all part-time.
They're all part-time, technically. We're only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But our newest employee is extra part-time. But we worked with the high school through a program. Yeah, she started through the high school.
There we go.
Yeah, so we started through like a work experience program through the high school. She worked with us for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. So it's making a position for someone who would have a very hard time finding a position elsewhere in the community. So it's supplemental, but we're really proud to have expanded to that because we didn't think we'd be in a place where we could do that. The main thing that we want to use this on besides utilities is we've got some updates that need done. Kids are hard on things, like I said. We've got some damaged issues, wall type repair things that need to be done. And we also want to update and make it as current as we can. You got to keep it exciting or kids get bored easily. So we're going to work on that. We have some floors, some barriers, just some safety type things that we really want to address and make it the best that it can be for all age kiddos. And you can see our crispy sign there. We have worked very hard to get a new sign in, and it was just replaced
So
last
if you drive
week.
past,
If you
you
drive
will
past
see
now.
Oh, good.
a new sign.
Since applying.
But we thought we had money at one point in time, and then we didn't have money, so we were all very sad. Then we ended up getting a donation in December. That was like $1,500. And so we all went, okay, what if we use that and then try and fundraise the rest of it? Because our sign was, the picture doesn't even do it justice how bad it looked.
And that's our face.
I've been there.
First thing people see.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you're right.
We see it.
Right, but we did in fact get a new sign finally.
So now we just have to wiggle around money.
Yeah.
It's fine. And coming to money. Our funding is primarily from family memberships, daily rates. We have an event this Saturday, STEAM Saturday. We have once a month, but this Saturday is Birdhouses, where we charge a nominal fee for the materials. We provide the instruction. So we do things like that. I personally teach a majority of the STEAM Saturdays because I also teach for Fremont 25. But those are the ways that we get this money, through events, Polar Express, things like that, fundraising and donation. We have been getting better about grants. Neither of us are grant writers. I can teach you to read, but
I can do a lot of things.
she can do your taxes. So we're new to the world of grants, but we've gotten a few this year. So we are really proud of that because this is a big step and a goal that we've had. But thank you to the rec board and thank you to Fremont 25. They have been really great contributors of CATS, and the partnership we have through field trips is growing. Because of what we've done in Fremont 25 School District, we've got Du Bois schools coming to see us. We have Arapahoe schools. We have homeschool groups. We have Thermopolis, Pavilion. We've had Worland. Yeah, so we're very proud that we're expanding outside of just our small circle.
Well, and we have also had to kind of learn more because Barb, who has been the treasurer forever, said 18 months ago she wanted to retire, and then
finally let her.
18 months later she said, I'm really, really serious. I want to be done. So we're kind of going into this figuring everything out. So
So CATS is now the only interactive children's museum type facility in Fremont County because we lost Landers Children's Museum. There are no other options. There are no other places for us to go. You know, the playland at McDonald's is a little dismal. So we need something for our kids to do in the winter months, in the cold times, in the off days. We need to provide healthy opportunities for our children. And I really do believe in my heart that CATS is a place to do that. And so we do this through the support of Fremont County and all of our constituents. So we're very happy about that. But do you guys have any questions for us? This is just an overall summary, but you have all of that as well.
Any questions? For the name being cats, I have not seen any cats.
I have sweated my rear off in that suit many a day.
I was wondering who that was.
Yeah, we attend as many of the elementary school activities as we can, and Megan always volunteers to wear the cat outfit, and I always volunteer to tell what we're doing.
I have a really good cat picture of where our SRO put me in cuffs.
Oh.
I tried to get in the car, but he wouldn't, my head
That's
wouldn't fit.
exciting.
So, you know.
And a little plug, if you have anybody, like she said, our STEAM Saturday is this Saturday. It's the birdhouse one. And
Tell us about that, because I love birds.
it's you build a birdhouse with Lynn Abernathy. Yes. He has all the
Yes.
pieces cut out, and he has skills kids that come down and help all the kids put them together.
How much
but
is
they can
that?
Use power tools.
$15 per kit. So you can come purchase a kit, take it, build it at home. But if you build it with us, you have safety equipment,
Yeah.
power tools, all the
And
accessories.
this is probably one of the only STEAM Saturdays we charge for.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's just.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And there's cedar,
Yeah,
cedar and
there's
treated.
cedar.
What time is it?
10 to noon,
I'm coming.
Saturday. Yes.
Yes.
Good. It is
But-
fun.
Today, you're doing seed bombs.
Yep.
Yes.
And you're going to bring Barb out of retirement for that?
We do, because
Yes.
she's with the garden club.
I knew
Yes.
that.
Yep. June is usually sand casting.
With David
Yep.
Malik.
from Makerspace.
Great. And you've got
July.
a mug. That's
Yes, we just
fast.
did that. That was in April. So that was, or March, sorry, this is April. It's the end of the school year, man. In March, we decorated mugs with Sharpies, and we talked about curing and the process of changing the Sharpie ink to the ceramic cup and things like that, and we baked them right there at CATS. You know, so we try to find very hands-on
And I
things that are all
think
ages.
We started consistently doing STEAM Saturdays probably about a year ago. That we said, okay, the second Saturday of every month, we're going to do something.
Yep.
And we started with Jax and Trace.
Yep.
And if we were lucky, one or
'Cause these
two
are our
other
sons.
other kids who might be at the Children's Museum. And we have grown to 20.
Yeah, 2025 consistently is about
Wow.
regular.
Right.
So in our packet, it was very hard to determine the number of people that we service through the community because we're expanding so much.
Yeah.
And we offer school memberships. The school district purchases memberships for various students too. So that's not only that student, but their extended family as well.
Right. The School District 25 last year, and they had done it like 2 years ago, I think, they have bought family memberships. And because of that, we are able to stay in business for
And function.
another year because our budget, honestly, if we lose consistently $1,500 to $2,500 a month.
Per month.
Because of the fact that we have rent and we have employees. And so consistently, if we have a month that we happen to only lose $200 at our board meeting, we are so excited. By the school district purchasing some of the memberships that they did last year, in theory, we can be open for 2 more years.
Yes. But we don't want to rely on that because we know that our funding as a school district has changed as her money's gone, you know.
And we try and be very conservative with our money.
Yes.
In the fact that if something's broke, Lynn comes down and I can't even tell you how much it would cost us if we did not have
Oh, if we had to hire an electrician.
Lynn Abernathy or David Mullick, because anything electricity wise, David has been on our board before and now he's not, but he will come and he knows exactly what to do.
Great.
And so there's a lot of things that we're able to
Service in-house and try not to
stretch
pay
our
for.
budget as far as we possibly can.
Councilwoman Pearson Lewis?
I have a question. Who is the district giving the memberships out to?
Generally, it has been our Native American families.
Okay.
So it is run through Roy this year.
Through-
Roy Brown.
Okay.
But in previous years, Cheryl Esposito was
Yep.
and so she
But
allocated
The
that.
Aspen,
Well, it started with Aspen because we were the early learning center.
Yeah, okay.
And if they had upper elementary siblings, it was
Okay,
the whole
cool.
family. So
Okay.
it is primarily Native American families.
okay, is it through like District 38 or?
Nope.
Nope, through, okay, thank you.
And we also, Pavilion, Wind River School District just bought 18
Memberships
family
for their.
Okay.
memberships for their students.
Thank you,
as
yep.
well. And part of that is because it is a family membership, and our family memberships are $150 for the year.
Here.
As much
And
as
it's
you
for
want.
5
Okay,
people.
that's really good to know.
I mean, honestly, we just try and keep it so doggone affordable
I have a 4-year-old, so.
that if
Coming
you
down.
if you have 3 kids,
It pays for itself. in
you're
a
not
couple
going
visits.
to go. You're not going to have to take out a loan to go spend the day at the Cats Museum.
Yeah, that's good.
And so, like I said, much to our detriment, because we lose $1,500.
But if we increase our fees, then we'd have less
Yes.
numbers
Right,
of
then we
memberships
would-
and we'd.
You're at a
hopefully-
sweet spot, right, right.
We could encourage Bailey's to have that as a employee benefit, right?
Jerk.
You think so?
No,
It's like,
we could
Well, let me
probably
think
even
about that.
give a discounted school district rate of 125, not 150.
All right, well, thank you very much for being here.
Any other questions?
Presentation.
No, we're good.
Awesome.
Just thank you.
Yeah, this is
work.
great. This is good.
We love it.
You guys are amazing.
All right, Timothy, take us home.
Tim,
No,
Ti-
no
oh,
pressure because.
Tim, you
you're
got a good speech for us?
standing
I
between
want a
us
good
and
speech.
Got
going
5
home.
minutes.
I want a good speech, Tim. Make it good.
Learn from now, don't mention going home in front of me, I'll take all night.
We have all night. Tim.
Okay.
Is this something I need to record?
No.
Speech coach is ready.
Yeah, right. You can submit my grade to my boss.
Oh, we got a slideshow
I'm
too.
one of
Oh, I'm
more than
excited.
one.
I'm excited.
Oh, that is small. There we go. Okay. I don't open up all of my cheat sheets here. Okay. So I have to start this by apologizing for my tardiness. When I read the agenda, I was like, oh, I'll get so much done sitting in the office and about 7:30 to report. That was not the case. I do apologize. That being said, thank you very much, Mayor, members of the council, for yet again enduring one of my lengthy presentations. Try and keep it brief. Tonight, I just want to explain 12 months after I did before, that we're looking at something that's bigger than just buses or budgets when we discuss public transportation. It's about connection, opportunity, and the future of Riverton's mobility. So, as we normally do, just under a quick understanding of who WRTA is and what role we play in Fremont County and have played for 3 decades. Since 1989, for 36 years, WRTA, formerly Santa, has been more than just a transit system. It's been a lifeline to education, healthcare, employment, and above all, opportunity. Today, WRTA provides strategic coverage to 10 cities, towns, and unincorporated areas. In 2024 alone, we've logged 36,000 riders and provided over 21,000 logistics hours of service. Our 20-person team, with a fleet of 22 vehicles, made this happen every single day. WRTA is more than just a bus ride. It's 36 years of community connection. And if I feel nervous, I have to apologize. My predecessor is sitting right in the corner. And so if I look to him, I have not had the fortunate opportunity and in front of him. So if I glance over, I'm looking for the approving nod or the it's time to update the resume. So
Tell us particularly about the, how many years were you there, Gary?
A little over 8.
So that last 8 years.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Yeah, let's review, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And so, in no place feels the impact of WRTA service than right here in Riverton. Riverton receives the highest concentration of WRTA services. All 4 of our fixed routes originate or end right here. Safe Ride Weekend service is here helping keep impaired driving rates as low as possible. And Share Ride, which I can officially announce is soon to become WRTA On Demand, will bring even more curb-to-curb access across the county. Nearly 60% of Safe Ride users currently, and a third of our fixed route riders are Riverton residents. Given Riverton's central role in our system, it's clear why your support matters so much. Our request to Riverton, totaling $86,708, is just a number, isn't just a number. It's about securing Riverton's connection to critical services and protecting federal funds already designated for Fremont County. It's a fair ask, which we've calculated based on Riverton's share of services, its usage, and population density. It's part of the $500,096 local match WRTA must meet to unlock its over $1 million in federal funds allocated for this next fiscal year. And after the failure of the 0.5% tax for economic development last November, filling this gap has become absolutely critical. And if we're unable to meet that match, the cost to our community is immediate and quite frankly devastating. Without local support, WRTA risks the forfeiture of some of its $1 million of dollars a year in federal transit funding. That means fewer buses, longer wait times, and the loss of entire route systems. Thousands of residents could lose access to jobs, healthcare, grocery, education, and the economic ripple effect of that would strain local businesses and social services. Public transportation, yet again, I'll mention, is not a luxury. It is a lifeline and a critical part of how our community lives and what will make it thrive. But while the challenges are real, I want to be clear, WRTA is doing anything but standing still. We're taking great actions. WRTA is actively planning for a sustainable future. We've submitted a USDA grant in partnership with CTAA to study long-term transit funding options for rural transit agencies. We are continually upgrading our transit softwares to boost efficiency. And we're reinvesting in our facility and our fleet to lower long-term costs. In fact, one of the most important things I'd like to note is we're doing more than just planning for WRTA's future, but we're laying the groundwork for stronger regional transportation system for everybody in the county. Over the past year, WRTA has been building the foundation for unified public transportation in Fremont County. We're developing centralized maintenance services to drive down costs, and ensure compliance with all agencies. We're moving towards central dispatch systems for more efficient and unified scheduling. And we're creating shared cost savings by jointly purchasing and entering into agreements for fuels and supplies. We're not just protecting today's service, we're building the future of Fremont County's mobility. But at the heart of all this, it's not about vehicles, contracts, or efficiency. It's really about the people that get serviced every day. These are real faces behind every funding decision. And I've mentioned that before. A dialysis patient, a late shift employee, and a community member. And that's why the request before you tonight matters so deeply. Is that an $86,708 allocated investment is what it takes to protect Riverton's transit lifeline. It keeps all services active. It secures Fremont County's federal transit funding. It delivers on WRTA's promises of mobility for everyone. Together, jointly and in partnership, we can continue to keep Fremont County and Riverton connected. I'd like to thank you for your time.
Nice job. I mean, you only went a little bit over 5 minutes.
Right.
Wasn't bad at all for Tim.
Hey, I'm supposed to say, thank you for your time, your attention, and your commitment to Riverton. So, as you know me by now, if I don't read it, it's not coming out of my mouth. So,
I did notice you never used the phrase, what was it last time you presented to us?
It's not I know it.
A public
entity.
entity.
Yeah.
Not a for-profit corporation.
Yes.
Yes.
Not-for-profit public entity.
Yeah, did the press catch that?
Yeah, I was waiting for that one.
No, I think we've moved on past that. I do
Yeah.
also want to include, in case you do have any questions, I did review the packet preparing for any third degree. I do realize that there is an error in an outdated budget that is attached to your packet. I will send you all the most accurate, but complete oversight on my part, and I apologize for that.
Okay.
Did well for being nervous.
Tim's never.
Nod or shake?
He's always on. He's always on.
He had caffeine.
I did.
All right. Any questions? Thank you, Tim.
Thank
you, Tim.
And nobody
Sorry
tell my
that-
wife that I could have been out of here 2 hours ago.
You
That
can
just
tell her.
got recorded, so I mean, it's there for
You
everyone.
very well might be watching.
I'm sorry that we got you over here earlier and then still had you last. Appreciate you sticking around. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. There's not many of you left, but thank you for sticking around till the end.
Making it happen.
Yeah. I'd, if nobody has any objection, do we want to just say we adjourn?
I'm all for it.
Let's adjourn.
To adjourn.
9:35 p.m.
Matt, make it happen.
Usually I like
Good
to.
presentations.
Oh, well,
People are already
whatever.